Chapter 1705 Sis11, you want to make a beeline for S rank? The female mercenary looked at Yi11 with incomprehension. Logically speaking, the mercenary honor points that Yi11 gained were enough for her to be promoted to A rank. But she was still wearing a lowly D rank uniform. Why are you asking Sis11 so many questions like a curious toddler? Sis11 naturally has her own reasons for not using her mercenary points to promote her rank. An A-rank mercenary interjected. The female mercenary rolled her eyes. This is Skisser. Yi11 kept walking forward, and the A-rank mercenaries trailed after her. As soon as Yi11 appeared in the mission issuance area, many mercenaries started examining her. Yi11. Damn. I just came back from a mission and heard that Elder Lei He's second disciple was killed by Elder Gong's new disciple. I heard that new disciple is named Yi11. That's not her, right? Yep, that's her. A D-rank mercenary who acted extremely arrogant on stage and insisted on fighting 1 against 2 and challenged the 2 S-rank mercenaries, Meng Tian and Meng Ku, at the same time. In the end, she killed Meng Tian and seriously injured Meng Ku. Her undefeated record of dozens of successful matches broke senior sister Nie Linglong's martial competition record, and she won first place. That brutal? You weren't there. Now the live show, that's called brutal. The gossiping mercenaries hastily sealed their lips when they saw Yi11 approaching. The C-rank and D-rank mercenaries all subconsciously retreated to the side and cleared a spot for Yi11 upon seeing her. Yi11 surveyed the mission board. The majority of them were C-rank and B-rank mercenaries, and only rewarded 100 to 400 mercenary points after completion. Not only were these C-rank and B-rank missions a waste of time, but the meager mercenary points that they rewarded was utterly horrendous. If she had to accumulate 175,000 mercenary points from doing these C-rank and B-rank missions, her hair would turn white before she reached her goal. Yi11 completely gave up on C-rank and B-rank missions. There was no way she would ever accept them. As for A-rank missions, the normal ones only rewarded 1,000 or so honor points while the middle-tier ones gave 2,000 to 3,000 points, and top-tier ones awarded 4,000 to 6,000 points. She could reluctantly accept that amount, but it wouldn't be sufficient for her to accept only A-rank missions. Using an average of 2,500 points per mission, she would need to complete 80 to 90 A-rank missions just to scrape together 175,000 points. It wasn't realistic for her to only stick with A-rank missions. To amass a large quantity of honor points in a short amount of time, her only option was to complete the top-tier S-rank missions, S+ rank missions, and even SS rank missions. However, these missions were currently too difficult for her. When Yi11 suddenly caught sight of a few particular mission slips, her eyes contracted and her mouth gaped in disbelief. S-rank mission. Obtain a strand of hair from Lord Azura. The completion reward is 10,000 honor points. S-rank mission. Obtain a personal item from Emperor Ji, his bronze ring. The completion reward is 10,000 honor points. Chapter 1706 SSS rank mission. Kill piece of shit. The completion reward is 100 million honor points. Yi11's eyes shot open. She counted a few more times and made sure she didn't count incorrectly. 100 million. Yi11 gulped. She had never heard or seen an SSS rank mission. This couldn't be a new difficulty tailored for piece of shit, Ishuehan, right? Also, what the heck was with 100 million honor points? Wasn't that too absurd? However, Yi11 determined this kind of SSS rank mission had to be a joke since who in the independent state could kill piece of shit? For this kind of impossible mission, it was meaningless even if you rewarded 1 billion, 10 billion, or 100 billion, let alone 100 million. Yi11 deliberated it for a moment before strolling forward and nonchalantly ripping 3 mission slips off. S-rank mission. Obtain a strand of hair from Lord Azura. The completion reward is 10,000 honor points. S-rank mission. Obtain a personal item from Emperor Ji, his bronze ring. The completion reward is 10,000 honor points. A-rank mission. Head to China and destroy the defected mercenary group. The completion reward is 5,000 honor points. Lord Azura and Ji Shiran's 2 missions were rather valuable. If she completed both of them, She would gain 20,000 honor points in a flash. She felt rather elated as she thought about this. The reward for the A-rank mission was a bit paltry, but it was still meat however little the fly. Anyway, she had to return to China soon, so she would finish the mission related to China first. There wasn't much time left in the half-year period. The sooner her return trip to China was, the better. She couldn't drag it out anymore. Her father and Yi Mufan didn't have much time left, and they were waiting for her. Aside from her father and brother's urgent matter, she also needed to take care of other matters. She had to check up on the Si family's current situation. There was something Yi Wanwan couldn't understand though. If Lord Azura really was Si Yihan, why was he unconcerned by the Si family's situation despite knowing about it, and being able to squash the revolt with a single finger as Lord Azura? It would be fine if it was anybody else, and Yi Wanwan could understand if Lord Azura was unwilling to take care of it. However, she heard that Grandma's situation wasn't great. So how could Lord Azura ignore even Grandma if he was Si Yihan? Yi Wanwan couldn't understand his indifference to Grandma. During her contemplation, a commotion swept through her surroundings. Senior Brother Grim Reaper is back. Fuck this procession. That's our Scarlet Flames Academy's Senior Brother Grim Reaper? Senior Brother Grim Reaper is probably the most famous person in the entire Scarlet Flames Academy, right? He's not only Grim Reaper, but he's also the eldest young master of the Shen family, one of the independent state's 4 great clans. Amongst the 4 great clans of the independent state, the Shen family was the most unique clan. They relied on their frightening wealth to control the independent state. Moreover, almost all 3 of the independent states' great academies had intimate connections with the Shen family. Whether it was Scarlet Flames Academy or Stars and Sun Academy, they were sponsored by the Shen family's wealth. Patriarch Shen's 2 sons and 1 daughter were all separately enrolled into the 3 great academies, and eldest young Master Shen was at Scarlet Flames Academy. Aside from the most terrifying, top-notch mercenaries in the 3 great mercenary academies, the most dangerous people were these 3 big shots from the Shen family. Chapter 1707. 1707. Several top-tier S-rank mercenaries were at eldest young Master Shen's side, guarding him. Everyone watched as eldest young Master Shen haughtily and pompously swaggered into the mission issuance area with his head high and chest out. Yi Wanwan looked at him, flabbergasted. This procession had quite the flair. Senior Brother Grim Reaper. Zhang Zunyan suddenly dashed forward and headed for eldest young Master Shen. Before Zhang Zunyan could reach his side though, one of the top-tier S-rank mercenaries suddenly blocked him, and imperiously looked down on Zhang Zunyan with an icy look. Scram. Zhang Zunyan was startled and hastily said, "Senior Brother, you've misunderstood. I'm friends with Senior Brother Grim Reaper." The S-rank mercenary turned to eldest young Master Shen behind him. "Boss. I mean Senior Brother Grim Reaper, do you recognize the C-rank mercenary?" Eldest young Master Shen stared at Zhang Zunyan in contemplation for a moment before asking, "What's your name?" "Senior Brother Grim Reaper, it's me. I'm Zhang Zunyan. You praised me before." "Praised you?" Eldest young Master Shen glanced at him. "Then do you remember how I praised you?" "Senior Brother Grim Reaper, you called me Little Smarty." Zhang Zunyan replied honestly after some thinking. "Oh, I remember now." Eldest young Master Shen nodded. "Speak. What do you need?" "Senior Brother Grim Reaper, didn't you want me to monitor Meng Tian for you earlier?" Zhang Zunyan asked with an obsequious smile. Some time ago, Meng Tian spoke rudely and offended eldest young Master Shen. So the young master had a C-rank mercenary monitor Meng Tian's every move, and would deal with Meng Tian after he came back from his mission. "Little Smarty, where's that fucker Meng Tian? Your Senior Brother Grim Reaper is gonna fuck him up today." Eldest young Master Shen glanced at the top-tier S-rank mercenaries around him. "Brothers, that shouldn't be a problem, right?" One of the S-rank mercenaries snorted with contempt evident on his face. "Boss. I mean Senior Brother Grim Reaper, don't worry. For a mediocre S-rank mercenary like Meng Tian, I can squash him to death with a finger." "Senior Brother Grim Reaper, just tell us how you want Meng Tian to die. How could we allow boss, I mean Senior Brother Grim Reaper, to personally take action against some nobody like Meng Tian? Wouldn't that be dirtying your hands?" Another older mercenary joked. Eldest young Master Shen turned to Zhang Zunyan. Speak, little smarty. Where's Meng Tian? Take me to him. Senior brother Grim Reaper Meng Tian died. Zhang Zunyan said mysteriously. He died. Eldest young Master Shen and the top-tier S-rank mercenaries around him were taken by surprise. How did Meng Tian die out of nowhere like that? What happened? How did he die? Eldest young Master Shen asked curiously. He was beaten to death during the martial competition. That person clearly knew Meng Tian was your prey, senior brother Grim Reaper, but still killed Meng Tian. Chapter 1709. Eldest young Master Shen glared at the S-rank mercenaries who surrounded Yi Wanwan and reprimanded. What the heck are you thinking about? The S-rank mercenaries all looked at each other, baffled. Wasn't it eldest young Master Shen who told them to beat up Yi Wanwan? However, since he said otherwise, they could only retreat and make their way toward little smarty, Zhang Zunyan instead. Zhang Zunyan was stunned and incredulous. What just happened? Why does senior brother Grim Reaper want them to beat me up all of a sudden? Before Zhang Zunyan could think further or react, fists started raining down on his face and body. The mercenaries in the mission issuance area were all bewildered. Why was Zhang Zunyan getting beaten out of the blue? Goddess. I've missed you so much. Eldest young Master Shen said as he walked toward Yi Wanwan. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. This time, they were certain they didn't miss here. Eldest young Master Shen missed Yi Wanwan a lot. Yep, they heard it right. Senior brother Grim Reaper knows Yi Wanwan? He likes Yi Wanwan? Obviously. Damn. Is Zhang Zunyan an idiot? Senior brother Grim Reaper and Yi Wanwan must be old friends. He didn't even look into their relationship before sowing dissent. He seriously deserves to be beaten to death. Zhang Zunyan was laboriously using his arms to protect his head, wishing nothing more than to bawl. How could he have known that senior brother Grim Reaper knew Yi Wanwan? Not only that, but he also liked her. Little baby, little fairy, did you miss me? Eldest young Master Shen gently asked while lovingly looking at Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan, there's seriously something wrong with eldest young Master Shen's head. Little fairy, you must have thought about me a lot. I missed you to death. Eldest young Master Shen continued with a smile after a lack of response from her. Yi Wanwan shook her head toward him with a beam. No, you didn't think about me. You must have been overthinking. Eldest young Master Shen. Everyone turned to each other, bewildered. They didn't miss here, right? Eldest young Master Shen liked Yi Wanwan, but Yi Wanwan disliked eldest young Master Shen. Eldest young Master, their Scarlet Flames Academy's Grim Reaper, was reputed to be the man that every young and beautiful woman in the independent state wanted to snag. What's inside this Yi Wanwan's head? Why isn't she seizing such a good opportunity? Eldest young Master Shen is the money god that every woman in the independent state wants to be married to. No, strictly speaking, it's not only women. I'm also willing to be married to him. Ha! You guys have lost your dignity because of money. What a joke you are. A student snorted. Even if he wanted to marry me, I wouldn't get married to him. Of course, if he's willing, I can marry him instead. The other students. And I thought you had a staunch backbone. Boss. He'll die if we keep beating him. Isn't it enough? Chapter 1710. An S-rank mercenary stomped on the extremely battered Zhang Zunyan and asked eldest young Master Shen. Eldest young Master Shen stared at the bruised-faced Zhang Zunyan and impatiently waved his hand. Toss this little smarty far away. The sight of him angers me. Following eldest young Master Shen's orders, Zhang Zunyan was carted away by the mercenaries. Goddess, I'll shelter you at Scarlet Flames Academy. If anyone holds any ulterior motives against you, tell me directly. Eldest young Master Shen happily said to Yi Wanwan. The onlooking students all couldn't help but shiver as they looked at Yi Wanwan. With Yi Wanwan's face, no one but eldest young Master Shen at Scarlet Flames would hold ulterior motives toward her. Not everyone had tastes as twisted as eldest young Master Shen. Oh right, I had something to ask you. Yi Wanwan asked seriously. Shen Tianchen was startled. What is it? What rank were you when you first enrolled at Scarlet Flames Academy? She asked. She was very curious about how eldest young Master Shin was promoted to S rank from D rank. The amount of mercenary points needed for promotion from D rank to S rank was frighteningly immense. Eldest young Master Shin was baffled why Yi Wanwan mentioned this. The same as you, of course. I started as a D rank mercenary, he answered a moment later. Yi Wanwan pressed, then how did you get promoted to D rank from S rank? Little fairy, this is a long story. It would take a while to tell. I see that you're only a D rank mercenary. How about I take you to do some missions? I guarantee that you can be promoted to between A rank and S rank within a year. Shin Tianchen declared confidently. Yi Wanwan. Actually, what I'm asking is, can honor points be bought with money? Yi Wanwan leaned close to him and asked extremely quietly. Eldest young Master Shin furrowed his brows and sized her up before asking contemptuously. Do you have money? Yi Wanwan angrily glared at him. No. Oh, if you don't, I actually have a very effective shortcut that can allow you to obtain a large amount of wealth in a short period of time. Shin Tianchen solemnly looked at her. All of the mercenary students in the mission issuance area imperceptibly crowded closer to the duo and perked up their ears. What method? Yi Wanwan was intrigued instantly. Eldest young Master Shin smiled. The method is very simple. Get married to me. Yi Wanwan. The mercenaries. That was the freaking shortcut to become wealthy and amass wealth in a short amount of time that eldest young Master Shin was referring to? Many students were stunned. Was eldest young Master Shin proposing to Yi Wanwan? Everyone originally thought eldest young Master Shin simply saw too many beautiful women in the independent state, so he wanted to switch up flavors. Chapter 1711. Who would have expected eldest young Master Shin to propose to Yi Wanwan in public like this? Many decent-looking female mercenaries all turned to look at Yi Wanwan with envy and jealousy in their eyes. But I'm uninterested in you, Yi Wanwan truthfully replied. The mercenaries. Too freaking thrilling. Goddess, believe in me that feelings can be nurtured. Don't reject me in such a rush. I opened a cafe in Scarlet Flames Academy, so let's have coffee first and carefully discuss the matter with mercenary honor points. Eldest young Master Shin invited her with a chuckle. Then Yi Wanwan and eldest young Master Shin gradually left everyone's field of view. Inside the cafe's super VIP private room, a cup of specially made coffee sat on the table in front of Yi Wanwan, the fragrance assailing her nose. Is there a fast way to obtain mercenary honor points? If you can buy them with money, how much does each point cost? Yi Wanwan asked eldest young master. Goddess, you can't use money to buy honor points. It's impossible. You also can't transfer honor points, or else I would give all my honor points to you. Eldest young Master Shin answered truthfully. Yi Wanwan sighed helplessly. Although it's unrealistic for someone to obtain a lot of honor points in a short period of time, there is a way. Eldest young Master Shin added with a mysterious smile. Yi Wanwan immediately asked, what way? Goddess, it took many nights of contemplation before I thought of this way. Normal people don't have this kind of intelligence. Eldest young Master Shin snickered. Although missions drain time and energy and are difficult, this isn't a problem. Everything is easily solvable as long as you have money. We might be mercenaries ourselves, but we can use our money to hire other mercenaries. We can accept the missions we want, then hire a lot of top-tier mercenaries and assign missions to them to complete for us. It's simple. Yi Wanwan was shocked. This kind of crafty maneuver was possible. A mercenary hiring other mercenaries to complete a bunch of mercenary missions for them. After thinking about it carefully, this was indeed a very convenient and feasible method. As long as you had enough money, you could hire many top-tier mercenaries and wouldn't need to be afraid of lacking honor points. That being said, the price of hiring a top-tier mercenary was probably terrifyingly high. Moreover, a mission couldn't be completed in a flash. A conservative estimate to complete an A-rank mission was probably 5 days to 7 days, while an S-rank mission would take longer, so you would have to hire a top-tier S-rank mercenary for a long period of time. How much does it cost to hire a top-tier S-rank mercenary? Yi Wanwan sought guidance from eldest young Master Shin. Shin Tianchen deliberated for a moment before replying. Every top-tier mercenary's price is different. It'd be fine as long as you offer a price that incentivizes them, or else they would just complete the mission themselves. Why would they need to help you do it? Yi Wanwan was contemplative when she heard that. If things were like that, then she could dispatch the entire Fearless Alliance. She would be responsible for accepting missions, and the Fearless Alliance would be responsible for completing the missions. Chapter 1712. After some consideration, Yi Wanwan shelved this option. If she dispatched Fearless Alliance members to do missions for her, it would evoke suspicion, and she couldn't transfer heaps of members from the Fearless Alliance's headquarters. She turned it over in her mind and realized that only eldest young Master Shun's method, hiring a lot of top-tier and high-ranking mercenaries to complete missions for her, was feasible. None of the other methods were workable. As for the hiring fee, it shouldn't be a big problem if it wasn't too high. The Rose of Death had finally started profiting and stopped depending on the Fearless Alliance's money. Goddess, how about you get married to me? As long as you marry me, I can help you hire as many mercenaries as you want, and you won't have to worry about money at all. I'll take care of it. Eldest young Master Shin beamed at her, flashing his teeth. Yi Wanwan glanced at him. Am I poor? Eldest young Master Shin smiled abashedly. His goddess was the president of the Fearless Alliance, so she probably didn't lack money. Also, how did you recognize me? Yi Wanwan asked curiously. Logically speaking, eldest young Master Shin shouldn't be able to recognize her. Ha, goddess. I could recognize you even if you turned into ash. What's weird about it? Eldest young Master Shin smiled. When Yi Wanwan kept staring at him intently, he smiled guiltily and said, Fine. I bought the news from my elder brother-in-law. Elder brother-in-law. Yi Wanwan was startled. It's Nameless Nya. Who else could be my elder brother-in-law aside from Nameless Nya? Goddess, aren't you Nameless Nya's foster sister? Eldest young Master Shin looked at her. Yi Wanwan's lips twitched when she learned it was Nameless Nya who exposed her. It truly did fit her brother's style. There was nothing he wouldn't do for money. Goddess, my elder brother-in-law is very satisfied with me. Otherwise, he wouldn't divulge your information to me. He even told me you put on an ugly disguise. I've searched through the entire Scarlet Flames Academy and didn't find anyone as ugly, so I recognized you at a glance. Shin Tianchen snickered mischievously. Am I the ugliest in all of Scarlet Flames Academy? After some more chatting with him, Yi Wanwan left the cafe and returned to the mission issuance area. Siswan, I heard you accepted that mission related to the defected mercenaries in China? Li Xian suddenly walked toward her from somewhere. What about it? Yi Wanwan looked at him in confusion. Siswan, you can't accept that mission. I heard that the elders determined the mission's rank was wrong and haven't confirmed the new rank yet, but it's better for you to not accept it. Li Xian hastily explained. Yi Wanwan didn't take it seriously though. She was about to return to China, so any convenient mission that came by was good. If Li Xian was telling the truth, she could just give up on the mission later. It wouldn't be any loss to her. Li Xian, help me call top-tier mercenaries in the academy here. Yi Wanwan requested. Me? Call those top-tier mercenaries here? Li Xian pointed at himself, bewildered. Aren't you overestimating me too much, Siswan? She thought about it. Oh right, Li Xian is also a D-rank student like me, so he probably can't even see those top-tier mercenaries. A light bulb went off and Yi Wanwan had Li Xian summon more low-ranking students for her before releasing the news that some missions with high payment had shown up. Then she moved a chair and a stool, and perched herself in the mission issuance area. Chapter 1713. Yi Wanwan sat down on the office chair in front of a table with pens and paper lying on it. She watched as S-rank mercenaries kept walking past her, her frustration clear in her eyes. Is my stall not obvious enough? After these high-ranking mercenary students earned enough honor points, they could exchange their honor points for a lot of money in the academy, so Yi Wanwan thought it would be easy as long as the price she offered was higher than the academy's. However, her stall remained vacant. Li Xian already distributed the news, but a few D-rank mercenaries didn't have much influence, so most people probably didn't believe them. As Yi Wanwan was in the middle of shaking her head and sighing, A young A-rank mercenary stopped in front of Yi Wanwan's table and examined it for a moment before asking with a frown, "What's this stall for?" Yi Wanwan instantly became energized by the appearance of a visitor. She surveyed the A-rank mercenary who had a clean and pretty appearance. "I'm here to issue missions." Yi Wanwan studied the young mercenary. "You issue missions?" The A-rank mercenary looked at her in confusion. "That's right." Yi Wanwan nodded and explained, "You use my name to accept a mission, and I can give you money after you complete the mission." "So you're saying that I'll use your name to accept missions, and the honor points upon completion will go to you, but you'll give me money in exchange? Is that it?" the A-rank mercenary asked. "Yes, that's what I meant," Yi Wanwan responded with a nod. To put it plainly, she was exchanging honor points with money. "What price can you pay?" the A-rank mercenary asked her with a frown. Yi Wanwan looked around her before quietly answering, "I can pay 1% more than the academy." 1%. The A-rank mercenary shook his head promptly. "Only 1%? That's not much money. Forget it." The A-rank mercenary turned around to leave. Yi Wanwan hastily called out, "Come back. I'll raise the price." "By how much?" The A-rank mercenary turned around and came back to her. 2%. "Goodbye." "Wait, 3%. That's enough, right?" Yi Wanwan quickly blocked him. "That's too little." He shook his head. Fine. Tell me how much I should increase it by then." Only one person stopped by after half a day, so how could she allow him to leave like that? Senior brother Grim Reaper also did something similar before, but the price he offered was 300% of the academy's price, the A-rank mercenary said while looking at her. Yi Wanwan was startled. 300%. "I wouldn't have enough even if I sold the Fearless Alliance and the Rose of Death." "Then, you should go find senior brother Grim Reaper." The corners of Yi Wanwan's lips twitched. She really couldn't pay that amount. She couldn't compete with a filthy rich young master. This was before. "Senior brother Grim Reaper hasn't done this in a while, so you should at least pay a reasonable price for us to put our life on the line for you, right?" the A-rank mercenary responded. "Name a price." Yi Wanwan furrowed her brows. 10%. The A-rank mercenary finally named his desired price after a while. "How about this? I can only pay 8%. If that's reasonable to you, you can take it. If it isn't, forget it." Yi Wanwan sighed. The market had been completely disrupted by eldest young Master Shin. Chapter 17-14 Deal. The A-rank mercenary nodded at Yi Wanwan. "With my abilities, I can take on A-rank missions. If you need more people, I can introduce some to you too." Yi Wanwan's eyes sparkled at that. That's great. Lack of manpower was her biggest concern right now. I heard a few imps mentioning that you want to issue missions?" In the midst of Yi Wanwan's conversation with the A-rank mercenary, an apathetic man wearing a gold uniform stopped next to her stall. The gold color in this mercenary's uniform was slightly darker than a normal S-rank mercenary's. SS rank. Yi Wanwan was surprised by the newcomer. The gold-uniformed mercenary in front of her had 2 medals on his cuff. 1 medal indicated S rank, 2 medals, SS rank. Then. I'll leave you guys to talk. I'll go find people now." The A-rank mercenary's imposing aura dissipated as soon as he saw the SS rank mercenary, and he immediately turned to leave. That's right. Yi Wanwan was ecstatic due to the SS rank mercenary. This was her first time seeing an SS rank mercenary since she enrolled in Scarlet Flame's Academy. Normal SS rank mercenaries like Meng Tian and Meng could probably weren't even worthy of holding an SS rank mercenary's shoes for them. They were 2 completely different levels. "I use your name to accept missions, and you take the mercenary points while I take the money, correct?" the SS rank mercenary asked her. Yi Wanwan nodded immediately. "That's right. Junior sister, I'm sure you also know that you can exchange honor points for money at Scarlet Flame's Academy. Unless your price is higher than Scarlet Flame's Academy's, let's drop this conversation," the SS rank mercenary said. "I can pay 8% more." Yi Wanwan responded quietly. "Oh, are you serious, junior sister?" The SS-rank mercenaries' eyes brightened. It wasn't difficult for mercenaries at their level to perform S-rank missions, unlike A-rank mercenaries. Paying 8% above the Academy's price was a considerable amount already. In the past, some sons and daughters of patrician families did something similar, but they only paid 2 or 3% at most. After all, someone like eldest young Master Shen was a completely special case and couldn't be used as a point of reference. Boss, I can get however many mission points you need. Have everyone else scram. What can garbage like the A-rank mercenary I just saw do? The SS-rank mercenary said. No wonder he's an SS-rank mercenary. His damn mask was flawless. I need about 170 to 180,000. Yi Wanwan truthfully answered after a moment of thought. The number presented by Yi Wanwan made the mercenary contemplative. Boss, why do you need so many honor points? Relying on me alone to obtain 170 to 180,000 points probably isn't too realistic. Even if I could do it, it would take too long. The SS-rank mercenary sighed. He couldn't devour this feast by himself. He continued, however, boss, I have a good relationship with a few other students who are quite strong too. Do you need them, boss? If you do, I can tell them to come here. You just need to pay the same price. Yes. Call them here. The more the better. Yi Wanwan vehemently nodded with elation in her eyes. Chapter 17:15. The more people she had, the faster she could amass her honor points and the sooner she could have the headmaster help her recover her memory. Yi Wanwan was busy nearly the entire afternoon. Since Yi Wanwan was Elder Gong's beloved disciple, most mercenaries trusted her and didn't request a down payment from her. This afternoon, the A-rank mercenary from earlier brought 2 more people to her while the SS-rank mercenary also brought 2 more. These 6 people helped her accept a load of missions, nearly clearing all of the A-rank and SS-rank missions from the mission board. After settling everything, Yi Wanwan headed to Elder Gong's residence to bid farewell. You accepted the mission related to the defected mercenaries in China? Inside the living room, Elder Gong asked Yi Wanwan with a deep frown. Yi Wanwan replied honestly. Elder Gong looked at her solemnly. Although you accepted this mission, it'd be best if you didn't touch it. It's not as simple as it looks. Master, I'll be careful. If it really doesn't work out, I'll give up, Yi Wanwan promised. She wouldn't do something stupid beyond her abilities for honor points. After saying goodbye to Elder Gong, Yi Wanwan reported her absence to Scarlet Flame's Academy and left the campus the same day. She returned to the Fearless Alliance to make preparations for her trip to China. The Fearless Alliance's headquarters. Yi Wanwan arrived at Big Dipper's office and entered without knocking. Big Dipper was holding his laptop and was entirely absorbed in whatever he was looking at without noticing her arrival. Yi Wanwan walked behind Big Dipper and asked with a light chuckle, having fun? Sis Feng, it's you. Fuck. You scared me. Big Dipper nearly rolled off his chair from fright and hastily stuffed something from the desk into his blankets. Yi Wanwan raised her brows. What are you doing? You're acting so sneaky. Big Dipper laughed dryly. Ha, and nothing. Yi Wanwan hooked her fingers at him. Take it out. Big Dipper looked miserable. It's nothing, Sis Feng. Are you watching some R-rated movie? Yi Wanwan pensively studied him. Of course not. I'll show you. But you have to keep it a secret or else it'd be a disaster if I'm discovered. Yi Wanwan was puzzled. What was it that made him so nervous? As Big Dipper said that, he cautiously pulled out something from his blankets. This is. Yi Wanwan walked up and saw that Big Dipper had hidden a laptop in his blankets. There was nothing strange about a laptop. What was strange was the webpage that the laptop was connected to was a webpage related to China. The independent state's xenophobic characteristics were extreme, as exemplified by how Yi Wanwan had to keep hiding everywhere when she first came since she didn't have a permit. Outsiders were strictly prohibited from entering the independent state and natives of the independent state weren't allowed to marry outsiders. Marrying an outsider was one of the highest forms of humiliation, and would tarnish their bloodline in the eyes of the independent state's natives, especially the powerful figures. The offender would be severely punished and might even drag down their entire clan. Hence, under this kind of restrictive system, it was understandable that people in the independent state couldn't connect to web pages on the outside. If you wanted to browse overseas web pages, you had to use special methods, commonly known as breaching the wall. And breaching the wall was absolutely prohibited in the independent state. Sis Feng, aren't we about to visit China? So I wanted to use the internet to understand some of China's culture and people. It'd help me assist you in completing your mission better, Sis Feng. Chapter 17:16 Big Dipper said it so nobly that she probably would have believed it if it weren't for the portrait photos of a female celebrity opened on his browser. Oh, understanding the culture and people, huh? This is how you understand the culture and people? Yi Wanwan stared at the female portraits on the webpage. The culture and the people. I'm understanding the people, nothing wrong with that. Then he ingratiatingly tried to bribe her. Sis Feng, I spent a lot of money and effort just to connect to the external network. But you can use it. You can use it. Yi Wanwan happened to want to understand the current situation too. So she sat down in front of the laptop. She was standing at a distance earlier, so she couldn't identify the female celebrity. After getting closer, she surprisingly found the celebrity to be someone familiar, and her fingers on the mouse paused involuntarily. Sis Feng, this is my goddess. She's pretty, right? Big Dipper enthusiastically introduced her. What surprised Yi Wanwan was that this female celebrity was actually Jiang Yinran. On the webpage was a set of portraits featuring Jiang Yinran. And in the photos, Jiang Yinran was dressed sexily and boldly. The level of explicitness was within an acceptable range, and shooting sexy portraits was a normal matter for female celebrities since sexy portraits could be shot classily and artistically too. However, the set that Yi Wanwan was seeing was rather mediocre, and evidently a bit vulgar. No wonder she didn't recognize these pictures earlier. These photos weren't Jiang Yinran's old style at all. It appeared that after she left, the team started preparing to have Jiang Yinran switch styles. Big Dipper proudly flaunted. This is my goddess' first time going the sexy route. It's simply a treat for male fans. These photos worked quite well on fans like Big Dipper, so he naturally didn't see what Yi Wanwan saw. Big Dipper was joyously enjoying his goddess photos when the screen suddenly switched, and Yi Wanwan started browsing something else. My goddess, Big Dipper howled resentfully. Big Dipper breached the wall rather well, and the web page loaded very fast. After Yi Wanwan typed in Gong Su, a lot of related news and gossip articles popped up quickly. Her face darkened as she skimmed the news and gossip articles. After snatching the Best Actor award, Gong Su's reputation in the industry took a complete about-face and became a model of encouragement. However, how long had it been? He already reverted back to his original state. Gossip about romance fluttered in the air, and the identity of his rumored girlfriend kept switching and switching. And even the photos that were shot were horrendous. He recently accepted a film with a very eye-catching topic, and the producers announced that there would be explicit bed scenes in the film in an attempt to madly advertise it and entice curious audiences. Yi Wanwan shook her head helplessly with a disappointed expression. As soon as this Gong Su was left unrestrained, he acted like this. Big Dipper disdainfully pursed his lips at the male celebrity in the news article. No way, right, Sis Feng? You actually like this type? He's obviously a flirtatious pretty boy. I can tell from a single look. Yi Wanwan ignored him and continued to search for Luo Qin and Han Xinyu. Han Xinyu's development was rather steady, but what surprised her was Luo Qin. This child actually started dating, and his partner was a newbie in the industry whose popularity had been quite hyped up recently. Big Dipper looked completely unsurprised as he watched Sis Feng continuing to search for news related to pretty boys. He kept making comments next to her. Chapter 17:17. This one is no good. That one is also no good. They're merely a little good-looking. However, to Sis Feng, this point alone was enough. Sis Feng was seriously Sis Feng. All the guys she liked were good-looking. At that moment, Yi Wanwan had tuned Big Dipper out completely and was intently staring at the laptop screen. There wasn't much to comment about Han Xinyu since his strength and quality were laid bare, and Luo Qin was rather steady too, But he did surprise her by getting a girlfriend. As for Gong Su, what was there to say about him? After gaining enormous popularity in China, he started exposing his nature again. He was lazy and more diligent about changing his girlfriends than his undergarments. Moreover, he didn't care about outside criticism and persisted in doing whatever he wanted. If this continued, Gong Su would probably meet his end. The most troublesome one was Gong Su, and his manager likely couldn't control him. While Yi Wanwan was browsing this page, a window suddenly popped out. She was instantly caught by the information in the window. It was a live broadcast. Who's this sister? Big Dipper asked curiously as his gaze also landed on the live broadcast. The woman in the broadcast had an extremely formidable aura, and was wearing a bright red gown, her skirt dragging on the floor. Her backdrop seemed to be at a banquet. When the woman appeared in her resplendent attire, she attracted everyone's attention instantly. The host ceremoniously began with a grin. Yes. Today, Emperor Sky Entertainment will announce a piece of breaking news. Everyone should know about this piece of news already since it's been wildly spreading lately. That's right. Half a month ago, Emperor Sky Entertainment acquired the Age of the Immortals. Following the host's words, many important figures in the entertainment industry looked at each other in surprise. In the end, everyone stood up and started clapping. I'm very honored to become colleagues with everyone from the Age of the Immortals and happy that all the employees from the Age of the Immortals will join the big family of Emperor Sky Entertainment. I hope we can progress with Age of the Immortals hand in hand and create brilliance. Yi declared with an imposing aura, looking magnificent under the gaze of thousands of people. Great! Thank you for attending the banquet today, President Yi. Next, we will have the CEO of the Age of the Immortals come up. Yao Jiawen, CEO Yao. The host announced cheerfully. A young girl gracefully walked onto the stage. When Yi Wanwan saw the girl's face, she was startled. She wasn't a stranger to the girl the host called the CEO of the Age of the Immortals, Yao Jiawen. Back in China, Yi Wanwan accidentally bumped into a girl, causing the girl's documents to scatter all over the ground. When she helped the girl pick up the papers, she discovered the girl to be an unpopular manager. She caught a glimpse of her CV and background and discovered that the girl was decently talented but was clumsy at social niceties, so she wasn't doing well in the industry. She cherished this talent, so she had Yao Jiawen apply at the Age of Immortals. As she expected, Yao Jiawen was talented and produced a popular artist at the Age of Immortals. Yi Wanwan herself also looked after Yao Jiawen and trained her personally. Now though, she hadn't been in the independent state for that long, so how did Yao Jiawen become the CEO of the Age of the Immortals? Furthermore, she led the Age of the Immortals to join Emperor Sky Entertainment. Chapter 17-18 The live broadcast continued. Yao Jiawen swept her eyes over the audience and chuckled lightly. I'm also very honored to join Director Ye's Emperor Sky Entertainment. If it weren't for Director Yi, the Age of Immortals might not have been able to persevere until now. We're also very apologetic regarding the errors that our previous CEO, Yi Bai, committed. Whenever Jiawen mentioned the previous CEO of the Age of Immortals, Yi Bai, a commotion erupted in the venue. According to Yao Jiawen's explanation, Yi Bai embezzled all of the Age of Immortals funds and fled from China, erasing all her tracks and causing the Age of Immortals to be paralyzed like never before. And the reality seemed to match her story. Yi Bai had disappeared for several months without any news. May I ask for your opinion on Yi Bai's embezzlement of the Age of Immortals funds, CEO Yao? A reporter asked her. Yao Jiawen nodded and said, this was an extremely selfish and irresponsible act that's also a crime. Everyone knows that our CEO, Yi Mufan, was arrested due to a charge of homicide. And Yi Bai is Yi Mufan's sister. Their father also has a criminal history and did the same thing. So perhaps this was the materialization of her criminal genes. I'm strongly condemning them here. CEO Yao, it was Yi Bai who single-handedly created the Age of Immortals and led it to brilliant heights. May I ask if you feel a great pressure in succeeding Yi Bai? Yao Jiawen shook her head with a smile. You're correct in that it was Yi Bai who single-handedly created the Age of Immortals and accomplished some achievements. Everyone bore witness to that. However, I don't think Yi Bai's abilities are better than mine. Instead, I think Yi Bai relied more on luck than her personal strength. But I'm different. After Yi Bai embezzled all the funds from the Age of Immortals, I still managed to lead the Age of Immortals out of its predicament. Yi Bai's rise was merely a byproduct of the change in era. From today onward, I can nurture tens and hundreds more Yi Bais. Of course, the Yi Bais that I nurture absolutely won't have any criminal genes. Veins bulged out of Yi Wanwan's forehead, and a cold glint shone from her eyes. I truly raised an ingrate. Big Dipper stared at the live broadcast and said with a vapid expression, China's entertainment industry is seriously messy, dogs biting dogs and ending up with a mouthful of fur. Sisfong, what's interesting about this? Get up and let me look at my goddess instead. Yi Wanwan immediately closed the live broadcast page. Fine, great, wonderful. Since she said Yi Bai carried criminal genes, I'll show them legitimate criminal genes when I get back. Stop looking. Go and tell 7 Star to make preparations. We're heading to China immediately, Yi Wanwan ordered coldly. Big Dipper was startled by her words. Sisfong. So fast. I'm not ready yet. Can't we wait 2 more days? Yi Wanwan nonchalantly glanced at him. Do you think it's better to look at your goddess through the internet or personally see your goddess in China? Ah. Big Dipper looked at her in surprise and slapped his thigh. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? My goddess is in China. Sisfong, you're seriously too smart. Chapter 1719. However, I'll be honest with you. Your goddess has a boyfriend already, Yi Wanwan said. Oh. I suddenly remember that I still have something to do. Big Dipper replied pensively at once. There are many good-looking girls in China, Yi Wanwan added. Ah. I remember now. I finished taking care of it all already. Sisfong, I'll go find old 7 now. Big Dipper then immediately left the room. And so that very day Yi Wanwan led 7 Star, Big Dipper, First Elder and Third Elder, who doggedly wanted to tag along, and a group of elites from the Fearless Alliance away from the independent state, and began their journey toward China. They needed to transfer onto several flights in many countries to get from the independent state to China, making it an extremely complicated journey. However, with the Fearless Alliance's finances, they managed to charter all of the flights, and the entire plane was solely comprised of people from the Fearless Alliance, so it was a fairly leisurely and peaceful journey. No one had visited China before, so they were all very curious about China and completely treated this trip like a vacation. To the elite members of the Fearless Alliance, this trip to China was simply a treat from their president. Several days later, at an airport in China. Back then, Yi Mufan and her dad encountered a mishap and Si Yihan suddenly disappeared, leading to both the Yi family and the Si family considering her as a thorn in their sides. Hence, to avoid bringing harm to her mother, Yi Wanwan had no choice but to leave China temporarily and use that time to investigate her identity. Now she was finally back. She had only been in the independent state for mere months, but when she returned to China, being in China felt like a lifetime ago. Yet, it also gave her an incredibly familiar and endearing feeling. Yi Wanwan pressed the sunglasses on her face before strolling forward. She was returning to the country secretly, so she was wearing a face mask and sunglasses to avoid being recognized by fans. She also slightly altered 7 Star and Big Dipper's looks and made them change into stylish outfits popular in China. Big Dipper was wearing a loose gold and blue baseball jersey with the recently popular large and exaggerated Chinese-style embroidery on the back matched with a pair of distressed jeans and white sneakers. Meanwhile, 7 Star was wearing a simple black hoodie with letters printed on it, and sweatpants with red borders. They were both dressed casually and stylishly, but it completely transformed their styles. They made some fine-looking eye candy indeed, and attracted a higher percentage of head turns as they walked. First Elder, who was wearing a casual red outfit and looked rather fashionable too, was rolling his suitcase and curiously surveying his surroundings along with Third Elder. To avoid attention, Third Elder let the elite Fearless Alliance members roam freely, and went to find a place to settle first. Big Dipper inquisitively looked left and right and fired questions at Yi Wanwan non-stop the whole time, while 7 Star stayed focused on the spot ahead of them, but instinctively observed the situation around them. Inside the airport hall, Yi Wanwan turned and said, "I'm going to the restroom. Wait at that coffee shop for me." 7-star replied, "All right." Big Dipper exclaimed, "Me too, me too." After Yi Wanwan and Big Dipper went to the restroom, 7-star sat down at the coffee shop and waited by himself. He had his eyes closed to rest when he sharply detected gazes settled on him, so his eyes shot open. What he saw was several girls nearby brazenly looking at him. Not only did they not evade his gaze after detecting it, but they also started shrieking in excitement. After the girls chattered for a moment, they actually walked toward him together. Chapter 17. 27-star became cautious as soon as he noticed their strange gazes. "Little brother, are you Chinese? Or Japanese?" One of the bolder girls was the first to strike up a conversation. "Little brother, you're very handsome. Are you an artist? Can I take a photo with you? Little big brother, let's exchange our WeChat info. Little big brother, do you have a girlfriend?" Before 7-star could probe into these girls' intentions, he was barraged by question after question. What stunned him was that these girls weren't scared of him at all. In the independent state, his reputation was fairly terrifying, so no one had ever disrespected him like this. However, this was China, and he could tell that these girls were defenseless and didn't have any ill intentions, so he didn't attack. Moreover, they came with a mission and needed to keep their identities concealed. They couldn't alert the enemies. Upon seeing a lack of response, these girls actually pressed closer and had wide, excited, anti-smiles on their faces. Some of them even started getting touchy. Within seconds, his face was touched a few times. When Yi Wanwan and Big Dipper finished using the restroom, this was the scene that greeted them. 7-star was surrounded by a group of handsy girls, and his young and handsome face was taut as a bowstring. "Shit. What's going on?" Big Dipper was shocked. "Yi Wanwan." She glanced at 7-star's outstanding looks and quickly realized what had happened. To avoid trouble, she specifically wore a face mask. She didn't expect that it would be 7-star who would encounter a problem in the end. Her profession in China was acting as a manager, after all, so she was naturally used to this kind of situation. She comfortably walked over and squeezed into the crowd, pulling and protecting 7-star behind her. After blocking their gazes, Yi Wanwan smiled at the girls faintly and said, "Sorry, please move aside. My brother isn't a celebrity. He's just a normal person. Please don't scare him." Then she looked at one of the girls and asked, "Can you delete the photos?" The girl looked regretful, but since the sister had spoken, she had to reluctantly delete the photos she secretly took. Although the sister spoke without room for objection, her tone was very gentle and didn't elicit any displeasure from them, so the girl subconsciously did as she said. Yi Wanwan watched the girl sorrowfully deleted photo after photo, leaving behind a profile that didn't reveal 7-star's face. She said, "You can keep this one." The girl's low spirits instantly turned to surprise. "Really? Thank you, thank you. You're welcome." After finally dispersing the girls, Yi Wanwan sighed in relief. Yi Wanwan turned to the seated 7-star and solemnly advised, "7-star, remember that beautiful boys must learn to protect themselves when they're outside since there are a lot of female scoundrels here. Understood?" When Big Dipper heard this, he reflexively scratched his head. "Are you sure these words are fine coming from you, Sis Foam?" This was the first time 7-star experienced this kind of situation, so it took a while for him to regain his wits. "Understood." On the side, Big Dipper looked anguished. If I knew earlier, I would have stayed behind by myself. Old 7, leave this kind of dangerous thing to me from now on." Yi Wanwan rolled her eyes at him exasperatedly. "Enough nonsense. Let's go." "Sis Feng, where are we going?" Big Dipper asked excitedly. Yi Wanwan stared at the clear blue sky. "I need to make a trip home first. You can do whatever you want." "Go home? Is this the family you had when you were in China?" "Yes." Due to the ruckus caused by her previous class teacher, Liang Lihua, the Fearless Alliance knew about her situation, and she didn't need to conceal it. Her explanation for 7-star and the others was that she used Yi Wanwan's identity to operate in China, but Yi Wanwan's family didn't know about her true identity. Sis we can accompany you, 7-star calmly suggested. Chapter 1721. Before Yi Wanwan could respond, Big Dipper suddenly leaned forward and suggested, I'm kinda hungry. How about we find something to eat first? At the mention of food, First Elder and Third Elder also walked over. All right. Yi Wanwan nodded lightly and led them out of the airport, arriving at a KFC near the airport. What kind of restaurant is this? I've never seen this place before. Big Dipper and the others followed Yi Wanwan into the store, and Big Dipper examined every detail like a curious child. The independent state naturally didn't have this kind of restaurant, so they had never eaten from here or seen this place before. Hey, give me another order of New Orleans chicken wings. No, 2 orders. As soon as Yi Wanwan and her 4 tagalongs sat down, they saw a man wearing casual workout clothes with a cap cursorily placed over his head of hair that reached his waist. He was clearly a man, but he was beautiful and stunning like a breathtakingly beautiful woman. This sister is good-looking. Prettier than my goddess. Big Dipper stared at the long white-haired man, his eyes sparkling. The man expressionlessly marched toward Big Dipper. Who are you calling a woman? Shit. It's a guy. Big Dipper stared at the man before him, stunned. How could there be a man who was this good-looking? Child, you're a country bumpkin. The man glanced at Big Dipper. What did you say? I'll give you another chance. Big Dipper stood up instantly and looked at him with a wide grin on his face. What? You want to play? The man's lips turned up with a wicked smile. No one saw anything, yet his right hand was already laying on Big Dipper's shoulder. In the blink of an eye, a bang rang out and Big Dipper's figure curved. He dropped back down into his seat. Misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. Suddenly, a girl with an innocently sweet face walked over with a family bucket meal in hand, and apologetically looked at Big Dipper and his group. Go. Let's go. Your wife is about to give birth and you're here stirring trouble. The girl hastily said to the man. Blah. So boring. The man yawned and took a bite of the New Orleans chicken wing in his hand before following the girl and leaving the KFC store. Damn. After watching the man leave, Big Dipper allowed sweat to drench his forehead. What? 7-star asked as he turned to Big Dipper. That man. He's too terrifying. Seriously too terrifying. Big Dipper shook his head. I've never encountered such a terrifying man in my life. This is probably how I felt back when I faced piece of shit. You're comparing him to piece of shit? Did you knock your head somewhere? Third Elder glanced at Big Dipper. Piece of shit wasn't called the strongest in the world for nothing. Why would I lie to you? That man is seriously super terrifying. He only clapped my shoulder, and I felt like my whole body was going to shatter. I even felt like he could easily kill me any second if he wanted to. No, he only needs a finger to do it. Big Dipper took a deep breath. The rest of them met each other's eyes with amused smiles, but didn't take him seriously. Big Dipper's words could only be taken with a grain of salt. Chapter 1722. However, the girl who showed up later, damn. Her looks are super sick. I feel like I saw that girl when I breached the wall in the independent state. I think she's some super best actress from many years ago. Too bad I couldn't tell for sure with her sunglasses. Big Dipper looked regretful. Yi Wanwan, 7-star, and the other 2 were too lazy to pay attention to Big Dipper's prattling. After ordering several family-sized buckets and stuffing themselves, Yi Wanwan called a taxi and guided everyone into the car, heading into the city. Sisfeng, China's economy isn't shabby. It's a lot more prosperous than the independent state. Of course, it definitely can't compare to us if we're talking about level of wealth. Big Dipper watched the scenery outside the window. There's so few race cars, it's a bit meh. There's also too few private helicopters. Even old 7 and I own a private helicopter, Big Dipper remarked. Yi Wanwan. Why don't I have one? That's a 5-star hotel in China? There's nothing great about it. Even the restaurants I usually eat at are more luxurious than that. Damn, they actually have bicycles. Everyone at least has a luxury car in the independent state. The taxi driver snorted. Brother, I've heard bragging, but I've never seen someone bragging like you. A personal helicopter? Why don't you ascend to the heavens? The 5 of you are squeezed into a taxi, so what's there to brag about? 7-star, Yi 11, first elder, third elder. China, the Yi residence. Inside the living room, Yi looked at the middle-aged man wearing a black suit in front of her and asked with a light chuckle, "You guys still haven't completed that tiny matter?" The middle-aged man chuckled too. "CEO Yi, it doesn't work that way." Yi stared at him. "Then how does it work?" "Everything needs to be reasonable, CEO Yi. Although Yi Shouting did owe us an extortionate loan back then, he's paid off most of it. Now CEO Yi, you want us to go and take away Golden Seas, Liang Wanjuan's mansion. That's inappropriate, no?" Yi shook her head. "I don't think so. Although Yi Shouting is almost done paying off the loan he owes you, he's not done yet. As long as you raise the interest a little higher, it wouldn't be any problem if you took away the Golden Seas mansion. Moreover, you just have to take away the Golden Seas mansion, and it'll be yours. Aside from that, I'll also give you this amount." "Oh." The middle-aged man's eyes brightened at the number given to him by Yi. Yi wanted them to take away the mansion, and she'd give them a sum of money on top of the mansion. "Haha, I understand. CEO Yi, you want us to make Liang Wanjun homeless, right?" The middle-aged man suddenly asked her with a laugh. Everyone knew Liang Wanjuan's husband and eldest son killed Yi's father. Although Yi Shouting and Yi Mufan were arrested, it probably wasn't enough to satisfy Yi's hatred, so she wanted to turn Liang Wanjun homeless and wouldn't leave Yi Shouting's family at peace. She would send them all to ruin. "That's exactly what I meant." Yi looked at the middle-aged man aloofly, her lips curling into a faint smirk. "So can you do it?" Chapter 1723. Ha ha ha, you're a frank person, CEO Yi. Since you said that, we'll definitely help you take care of this matter beautifully and perfectly. Don't worry, CEO Yi. We'll help you take back the Golden Seas mansion for sure and guarantee Liang Wanjun will leave penniless, end up homeless and become a beggar. The middle-aged man stood up and assured her with a clap on his chest. "Great." Yi nodded. "I'm sure you don't need me to show you out. I'll await good news from you." Soon, the middle-aged man stood up and took his leave. He pulled out his phone and called several numbers. It didn't take long for several dozen people to rush over fierily with wooden clubs and other weapons hidden in their clothes before making their way to Golden Seas. About half an hour later, the front door to a mansion at Golden Seas was knocked on. It was a woman who opened the door. She looked like she was in her 40s or 50s, and was dressed plainly with life's hardships carved into her face. Liang Wanjuan's face looked a lot older than before. Ever since Yi Shouting and Yi Mufan were arrested, she helplessly washed her face with her tears time after time, unable to do anything about the situation. If it weren't for her daughter periodically giving her assurance, Liang Wanjun probably wouldn't have been able to keep holding on. "You." Liang Wanjuan's expression shifted when she saw the middle-aged man and his gang. "Hey, Madam Liang Wanjun, look at the long trip we made here. Our legs and feet are seriously hurting. Shouldn't you invite us inside and give my brothers some tea to drink or something?" The middle-aged man greeted her with a snicker. Liang Wanjun furrowed her brows slightly and shook her head. "I'm the only one home, so it's not convenient." She then attempted to close the door. However, the middle-aged man reached out and caught the door, not giving her a chance to close it. "What do you want?" Liang Wanjun shouted. "Madam Liang Wanjun, look at how you're talking. And you're asking us what we want. Your husband, Yi Shouting, owes us money and still hasn't finished paying it off yet. That's the truth, no? Paying a debt owed is an unquestionable principle. It's clearly you who's acting shamelessly, so why are you making us out to be the scoundrels? That doesn't make any sense, right?" The middle-aged man scoffed at her. "Nonsense. Shouting told us he's paid off all the debt he owed you already." Liang Wanjun retorted. "Heh. The things you say. Thank goodness we still have transfer records. Take a look for yourself." The middle-aged man ordered someone to give him the transfer documents and handed them to her. Liang Wanjun suspiciously skimmed the paper and saw from the transfer record that there was a final missing sum of about 10,000 renminbi. "All right, I'll get it for you." Liang Wanjun turned and entered the house, But the middle-aged man and his group also followed her inside the mansion. Tut-tut, this mansion is rather nice. The middle-aged man examined the interior with satisfaction. Soon this mansion would belong to them. Ignorant to his thoughts, Liang Wanjun quickly returned with a handkerchief in hand. In front of them, she carefully opened the handkerchief. Inside the handkerchief, there was a stash of worn $100 bills with a few small bills mixed in. It was evidently money that Liang Wanjun saved up through every means possible. Chapter 1724. 1724 Liang Wanjun reluctantly handed the man the 10,000 renminbi inside the handkerchief. The middle-aged man smiled and glanced at the money before accepting it. I've already paid the rest of the money back to you, so there shouldn't be any more problems, right? If everything is fine, you can leave now. Liang Wanjun started implicitly asking them to leave. The middle-aged man nodded and said, Madam Liang Wanjun, if you don't have anything else, you can leave now. What did you say? Liang Wanjun looked at him baffled. This middle-aged man wanted her to leave? I'm saying you can leave after handing over this mansion's title deed. The middle-aged man smiled at her. What do you mean? This house is mine. Liang Wanjun questioned. And it used to be yours. But it doesn't belong to you anymore. This house is interest. Interest? Liang Wanjun was incredulous. Didn't I pay back all the money we owed? Madam Liang Wanjun, what you paid back was the principal. The principal is the principal, and the interest is the interest. And this house? It's the interest, the middle-aged man replied. You're treating a whole house as interest $4.10,000? Why don't you go rob a bank? Liang Wanjun was trembling from fury. Ha, Madam Liang Wanjun. What funny words you speak. We're loan sharks. And your husband knew we were loan sharks when he borrowed money from us back then. What's a loan shark? You borrow 10,000 and use a house as interest. That's what borrowing from a loan shark means. There's nothing wrong with that. The middle-aged man snorted. You're delusional. Liang Wanjun turned around and pulled out her phone, intending to call the police. Humph. I think you're being ungrateful. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. Do you want to die? The middle-aged man's face immediately darkened when he saw Liang Wanjun about to call the police. He snatched the phone and ruthlessly crushed it. You wretched robbers! Bandits! Scum! Liang Wanjun was tied to a chair and started cursing at the middle-aged man and his gang. Madam Liang Wanjun, you're mistaken. We aren't robbers, bandits, or scum. We're loan sharks, the middle-aged man retorted with a light chuckle, not the slightest bit enraged. Liang Wanjun was about to say something when the doorbell suddenly rang. The middle-aged man was startled. Liang Wanjun herself was bewildered. She didn't know any of the nearby neighbors, nor did she ever have any visitors. She had been alone at home this whole time. Strange. Sis Feng said it was this one, no? Why isn't there anyone home? A faint voice drifted from outside the door. Old Seven, do we have the wrong place? Seriously. Why isn't Sis Feng back yet from buying all those knickknacks? Anyone home? If someone's home, open the door. The speaker's volume increased. The middle-aged man frowned and had an underling open the door. As soon as the door was opened, Big Dipper and Seven Star quickly entered the house. So many people here. Hello everyone, I'm Big Dipper and he's 7 Star. Sis Feng told us to come in first. Big Dipper greeted the middle-aged man and his group with a grin. Sis Feng? You are. Liang Wanjun looked at the two newcomers with confusion. Chapter 1725. 1725 Big Dipper and 7 Star immediately turned to look at the tied-up Liang Wanjun. Auntie, why are you tied to a chair? Big Dipper looked at Liang Wanjun in confusion and incomprehension. 7 Star glanced at his partner. Isn't it obvious? Don't be so polite, everyone. Why are you all standing? Sit down. Sis Feng will be back in a bit. Big Dipper said to everyone in the living room with a smile. Everyone looked at each other. Where did this idiot come from? Punk, where did you come from? The middle-aged leader sneered. Where? The airport, Big Dipper answered. Before the middle-aged man could respond, Big Dipper turned to look at the door. Yi Wanwan was currently entering the mansion with an array of bags in tow and first elder and third elder following behind her. Inside the bags were gifts Yi Wanwan purchased for her mother, Liang Wanjun. There wasn't much to bring back from the independent state, so she went on a spending spree at a shopping center near the mansion. But bringing Big Dipper and Seven Star along with her would be too eye-catching. Hence, Yi Wanwan gave them the address and had them wait for her at the door. When Yi Wanwan entered the house and saw how lively it was, she was also taken aback. What's going on? Wanwan. Liang Wanjun was first startled upon seeing the sudden return of the long MIA. Yi Wanwan before excitement and disbelief burst from her eyes. However, Yi Wanwan's joy disappeared as soon as she saw Liang Wanjun tied to a chair. I was wondering who it was. It turns out your daughter came back. The middle-aged man superficially smiled at Yi Wanwan. Wanwan, hurry and leave. Call the police. These guys are bandits. Liang Wanjun instantly shouted to her. Bandits? The middle-aged man shook his head mockingly. Look at what you're saying. How could we be bandits? We're the most reasonable people possible. It's a universal principle to pay back money owed. You owed us money, so how did we suddenly become bandits? I think you're the bandits here. Oh? So you're loan sharks, huh? Yi Wanwan swept her eyes over the middle-aged man and his group. What? Isn't it obvious? The middle-aged man chuckled. Great. I love to talk reason with people. Yi Wanwan turned to third elder and ordered, close the door. We'll talk some reason with them today. Third elder slammed the door shut with an ear-shattering bang. Be gentler. You nearly shattered the door. Yi Wanwan's lips twitched as she looked at third elder. Third elder. Ha ha ha, how interesting. So you like to talk reason? That's great. The middle-aged man stared at Yi Wanwan with an amused smile on his lips, as though Yi Wanwan and her group were meat on a chopping board. Tell me how much money we owe you. Yi Wanwan first loosened the rope around Liang Wanjun before leading her to nonchalantly sit down on the sofa in the living room. Not much. You just owe us this mansion, so giving us this mansion will do. We're very reasonable, the middle-aged man answered. Wanwan, don't listen to his nonsense. Your father nearly paid back all the debt he owed to them, and was missing just 10,000 or so. And I gave it all to them just now. Liang Wanjun hastily interjected. Chapter 1726. I said this earlier. 10,000 is the principal, and this house is the interest. The middle-aged man sneered. Yi Wanwan looked at him and expressionlessly asked, so you're saying that a principal of 10,000 requires a whole mansion as interest? Of course. We're loan sharks. Don't you know what a loan shark is? We're loan sharks. That's reasonable, right? The middle-aged man looked at her. Damn. You're shadier than me. Big Dipper gave the middle-aged man a thumbs up. In the independent state, their fearless alliance was shady enough already, but to his surprise, there were people in China shadier than them. A principal loan of 10,000 renminbi actually required interest equivalent to a mansion. Following your line of thought, it is rather reasonable. Yi Wanwan nodded. Everyone was startled by her words, especially Liang Wanjun. She didn't understand what Yi Wanwan was thinking at all. I can give you the house. That's fine. Yi Wanwan smiled. Hey, you're rather sensible, the middle-aged man said. As long as you give us the house, we can leave you alone and won't come back. You want to leave? No need to rush. Yi Wanwan shook her head. You have other inquiries? He asked. Of course. Now that you're done talking about your reasoning, it's time to chat about our reasoning. Yi Wanwan's lips curled into a bewitching smile. Your reasoning? The middle-aged man was taken aback. What brand of reasoning could they have? You trespassed on private property and tied my mother to a chair. Both my mother and I suffered a fright and require 100 million as compensation. This is our reasoning, Yi Wanwan replied. The middle-aged man and his group froze in their spots. Guffaws quickly erupted in the mansion. Little girl, what right do you have to be so unruly? The middle-aged man asked Yi Wanwan. What right? Yi Wanwan snorted. We're bandits. Ha ha ha, you feeble weaklings. The middle-aged man wore an exaggerated smile on his face. However, following his words, third elder's face darkened and his hand shot out, ruthlessly hitting the middle-aged man in the face with a bang. A second later, the middle-aged man flew back and heavily crashed into the wall. Haha, sister, I'll go on a walk with you. First elder walked toward Liang Wanjun and led her out of the mansion by her elbow. Third elder, look, this is how you're inferior to first elder. First elder is shrewder and has more brains than you. Big Dipper mocked the elderly man. Third elder glared at him harshly. An idiot like you is mentioning brains to me? Big Dipper, feeling like he'd been suppressed by first elder again. Third elder vented all of the raging fury inside him at the loan sharks. Within moments, the loan sharks were squatting in the corner and clutching their heads, not daring to even breath loudly. Is this old man a freaking monster? You. The middle-aged man's face was deathly pale as he looked at Yi Wanwan and her group, the blood by his lips still fresh. What kind of monster did I provoke? An old man who looks like he has a foot in his coffin is beating dozens of my men up like we're children. Chapter 1727. How about this? I'll give you the house. It'll count as 50 million. You owe us 100 million, and since I'm taking back the house, you still owe us 50 million. That's reasonable, right? Yi Wanwan looked at the middle-aged man with a light chuckle. The middle-aged man maliciously spat out, load of fucking bullshit. You want to die? Fuck your father. Big Dipper directed a vicious flying kick at the middle-aged man's head. You should thank me for being merciful, or else a kick from your grandfather, me, would have shattered your head. Big Dipper glared at the middle-aged man. Where did you get the guts to rob your way to Sis Feng's house? Do you freaking want to die? We aren't robbing. We're loan sharks. One of the middle-aged man's subordinates fearfully denied it. You dare to make excuses? Big Dipper slapped the young man's mouth. After being slapped, the young man hastily turned around, not daring to say another word. You still owe us 50 million, correct? Yi Wanwan pressed with a grin. The middle-aged man gritted his teeth and had no choice but to nod. Correct. Everything you say is correct. 7-star. Make him write down the debt amount so he can't deny it later. We're all reasonable people. Yi Wanwan looked at 7-star. 7-star immediately found a pen and paper, and made the man write it down, and also pressed down a bloody handprint. If there's nothing else, we'll leave now, the middle-aged man said. No hurry. Yi Wanwan smiled. Who sent you here? There had to be a mastermind behind these people, or else they definitely wouldn't have been so gutsy. No one directed us. The middle-aged man vehemently shook his head. Big Dipper, beat him until he spits out the mastermind. Yi Wanwan ordered. Hee, don't worry, Sis Feng, I'm good at this. Big Dipper twisted his neck with a mischievous laugh and picked up the middle-aged man by his lapels. Don't. I'll talk. It's the Yi family. It's Yi who ordered us to do this. The middle-aged man immediately sold Yi out to prevent himself from being beaten again. CEO Yi gave me a sum of money and told us to take this mansion away. After taking this mansion away, she said she'd also give it to us. Her objective was to make sure your family won't be at peace and turn your mother into a beggar. The middle-aged man continued, divulging everything he knew. Yi. A cold glint glittered in Yi Wanwan's eyes when she learned that it was Yi. That family seriously acted like flies. She didn't seek retribution from them yet, but they decided to serve themselves to her. Scram. I'll be your son if you let me see you again, haha. Big Dipper kicked the middle-aged man out the door. Upon seeing this, dozens of young men raggedly scrambled out after the middle-aged man. Moments later, First Elder led Liang Wanjun back into the house. Haha, sister, look, isn't this matter resolved? Don't worry. First Elder reassured her with a smile. Liang Wanjun walked to Yi Wanwan and inspected her up and down. Wanwan, are you okay? Where did those people go? Mom, the problem's taken care of. Don't worry, Yi Wanwan replied with a smile. It had only been a few months, but Liang Wanjun looked like she'd aged 10 years, causing a painful pang in Yi Wanwan's heart. Liang Wanjun was confused about what caused those people to leave, but didn't press the matter. She merely looked at Yi Wanwan and meticulously examined her. Chapter 1728, Wanwan. Where did you go these last few months? A while later, Liang Wanjun finally asked. Haha, sister, we've been doing business with Wanwan and we're rather busy these past few months. Wanwan kept insisting on coming back to visit, but there wasn't much we could do since the business depended on her. See, didn't we come back as soon as we had time? First elder answered Liang Wanjun in Yi Wanwan's stead. Thank you. You must have been taking care of Wanwan this whole time. After my long talk with you, I feel that you're very knowledgeable and have great respect for you. I'm reassured knowing that Wanwan's doing business with you. Liang Wanjun said to First Elder. Sister, don't worry. We're business partners and trust each other. The business is doing pretty good too, so you'll be able to live comfortably in the future. Third Elder hastily interjected, unwilling to be outdone. Good. Thank you, everyone. May I ask what kind of business you're all doing? Liang Wanjun looked curious. Auntie, we opened a giant company that does all sorts of business free of capital, like robbing money, goods, people. We do it all. We previously wanted to manufacture firearms, but sadly, we didn't dare. Otherwise, we'd have earned even more money. Big Dipper suddenly said. Yi Wanwan, First Elder, Third Elder, 7-star. All sound was vacuumed out of the room following Big Dipper's words. What? Did I say something wrong? Big Dipper asked. Haha, sister, this friend is the most humorous out of all of us and loves to joke, First Elder said with a chuckle. Big Dipper wanted to retort, but was silenced by a frightening glare from Yi Wanwan. Right. I love to joke. I once wanted to make a rocket to visit the moon. Big Dipper awkwardly laughed. Liang Wanjun finally felt at ease and looked at Big Dipper reproachfully. Child, it's fine if you told a joke like this in front of close friends, but you can't casually tell it to everyone. You'd have gotten into big trouble if people took it seriously. Yes, Auntie's right. I won't joke around anymore. Big Dipper nodded frantically. You've all worked hard. Let's have lunch at home. I'll go buy some groceries now. Due to Yi Wanwan's return, Liang Wanjuan's spirits improved immensely. Mom, I'll go with you. Yi Wanwan stood up and followed her. On the dining table, Liang Wanjun looked at Yi Wanwan. Oh right, Wanwan, where's your boyfriend? Boyfriend? The other 4 people immediately turned to Yi Wanwan. Why didn't they know the president had a boyfriend? In order to keep Liang Wanjun from overworrying, Yi Wanwan explained after a moment of contemplation. Mom, he hasn't been in the country lately. There's some overseas business that requires his attention. Liang Wanjun furrowed her brows. She felt like her daughter was hiding something from her. Did Wanwan break up with her boyfriend? She remembered that Wanwan previously mentioned her boyfriend was just an employee at the C Corporation. So why did he have overseas business? However, Liang Wanjun wouldn't pursue the matter if Yi Wanwan didn't want to talk to her about it. After eating lunch together, Yi Wanwan had the other 4 stay at home. She told First Elder and Third Elder to carefully watch Big Dipper and stop him from running his mouth off. Meanwhile, she put on her sunglasses and went to the prison facility to visit Yi Mufan and Yi Shouting. Chapter 1729. Yi Wanwan first went to a law firm to hire a lawyer, before bringing the lawyer with her to the prison. After a negotiation with her lawyer, Yi Wanwan finally saw her father, Yi Shouting, as she wished. Currently, Yi Shouting was sitting across from Yi Wanwan with shackles around his wrists, and wearing a prisoner's uniform, looking wan and sallow. Wanwan, why are you here? Yi Shouting was shocked at the sight of Yi Wanwan, joy surfacing in his eyes. During their time of imprisonment, Liang Wanjun visited often and told him that Yi Wanwan was searching for proof of their innocence. Dad. Pain crept into Yi Wanwan's eyes at the sight of her father's haggard looks. Wanwan, it's fine if you didn't find any evidence. Yi Shouting hastily forced a smile when he saw Yi Wanwan's expression. Since someone was intentionally framing them, why would they allow other people to easily discover their tracks? Dad, don't worry. Now that I'm back, absolutely nothing will happen to you. Believe me. Yi Wanwan promised, meeting Yi Shouting's eyes. Even if this seemingly aged man wasn't her biological father, she always treated him as her biological father in her mind, and that had never changed. It's fine, Wanwan. Just try your best. Yi Xiaoting continued to smile, thinking that Yi Wanwan was merely comforting him. If Yi Wanwan really found evidence, she would have submitted the evidence long ago. Before Yi Wanwan could say anything else, Yi Xiaoting was taken away due to a time limit. A moment later, Yi Mufan was brought inside. Yi Mufan's head was shaven, and there were shackles and a prisoner outfit on him. He looked rather slovenly. Damn. Wanwan, you're here? I thought it was Mom. When Yi Mufan saw her, his eyes shone, and he instantly became spirited. After they were framed, Yi Wanwan disappeared without any news, and they hadn't seen her at all these past few months. How are you doing in there? Yi Wanwan asked him. How? What do you think? Your brother was born tender and delicate, so how could I do well in here? I nearly lost my virtue. Damn, thank goodness I'm clever and have a high EQ. So I'm getting by decently in here, Yi Mufan answered. Yi Wanwan. Judging from Yi Mufan's tone, he wasn't merely getting by decently, but he was also living rather comfortably. Wanwan, it must have been those two bitches, Liang Meixian and Yi Yi, who framed me. It must have been Liang Meixian who killed Yi Xiaoan. Have you found evidence yet? The trial will be held soon. If you haven't found evidence yet, Dad and I will seriously go to heaven to protect you and Mom, Yi Mufan said while looking at her. Yi Wanwan glanced at him. She originally thought these past months would have made Yi Mufan become more mature and responsible, but she was expecting too much from the current looks of it. I haven't found proof yet, Yi Wanwan replied truthfully. How? You haven't found proof? Yi Mufan looked at her, dumbfounded. It's over, we're fucked. I'm telling you, that bitch Liang Meixian must have been cautious and definitely wouldn't leave any evidence behind for such a serious matter. If this matter came to light and proof was found, she'd be the fucked one. Chapter 1730. Yi Wanwan didn't refute Yi Mufan's words. Liang Meixian was very cautious indeed, and it wouldn't be easy to uncover evidence against her. I can now confirm that it was Liang Meixian and Steward Huang who teamed up to frame you, Yi Wanwan said to Yi Mufan after a moment of contemplation. Steward Huang. Yi Mufan was shocked. I previously followed Liang Meixian, and saw that she had an affair with Steward Huang, and they were connected to Yi Xiaoan's death. They were the perpetrators, Yi Wanwan explained. Damn. I knew there was something fishy between that damn bitch Liang Meixian and old fucker Huang. They kept sending looks at each other all day long. They seriously had an affair. Nice Wanwan. Good job discovering that. Yi Mufan gave her a thumbs up. Give me some time, and I'll definitely clear your guilt, she promised. Shit, Wanwan, you need to be quick. There really isn't much time before the trial is held. If you don't have evidence to prove Dad's and my innocence, it'll be awful. Right, did you bring me any roast duck? My taste buds feel so bland. Yi Mufan's words took a sharp turn in the middle, and he stared at her intently. Yi Wanwan. I didn't. Yi Wanwan frowned. You can eat as much roast duck as you want when you get out. When I get out, why would I still eat roast duck? Yi Mufan curled his lips. Time's up. Before they could continue, Yi Mufan was led out of the room. Since time was limited, Yi Wanwan didn't linger and quickly left the prison. After telling the lawyer to head back, Yi Wanwan called a car to return to the Golden Seas mansion. As soon as she entered the house, she saw Liang Wanjun, First Elder, Third Elder, and Seven Star playing First Elder, together while Big Dipper was leaning over behind Seven Star. Old Seven, play this. Why aren't you using your bomb? Play the big joker. What are you afraid of? You also have the little joker. Big Dipper kept rambling. Seven Star frowned and glanced at him. Can you be quiet? I'm the landlord. Soon, everyone else learned all of Seven Star's cards from Big Dipper, and successfully thrashed Seven Star, making him lose a round. Old Seven, actually there's something wrong with your technique. Big Dipper looked pensive. Scram. Pre-Wanwan, you're back. First Elder greeted Yi Wanwan, who had just entered the house. Liang Wanjun stood up and cleaned up a bit upon seeing Yi Wanwan return home. Wanwan entertained the guests. I need to go out and buy more groceries. We'll have dinner at home tonight. Okay. Yi Wanwan nodded. After Liang Wanjun left, Yi Wanwan didn't bother with a prelude and left the house with the other four in tow. Half an hour later, they arrived in front of the Yi residence. Yi Wanwan took out photos of Liang Meixian and Steward Huang, showing them one by one. These next few days, keep a close watch on these two for me. Take photos and record videos if you can. Remember to prevent yourself from being discovered by anyone. Yi Wanwan instructed. With their profession, this tiny task shouldn't be a problem. They didn't know her intention, but none of them questioned her, and they nodded in agreement. Secretly, though, they judged their president for using a sledgehammer to crack a nut by making them do something as minor as stalking. Chapter 1731. For the next few days, the quartet secretly watched and stalked Liang Meixian and Steward Huang during the day, and returned to the mansion to rest during the night without any problems. As for Yi Wanwan, after she temporarily settled her mother down, she naturally had to visit Han Xianyu and the others. At the same time, at Han Xianyu's mansion in the suburbs of Beijing. In the living room, Han Xianyu and Luo Chen sat on the sofa, exhausted, while Jiang Yanran stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window with a lost expression. As for Gong Su, he was anxiously pacing back and forth in the room without a second's pause. Fei Yang, who was sitting in front of a desk and looking at his laptop, finally lost his patience and pinched his eyebrows while looking at Gong Su. Little ancestor, can't you sit down peacefully for a moment and stop wandering in front of me? Gong Su exploded like a lit firecracker, his birdnest of hair swaying to and fro with his shouting. Damn. Your young master is about to be abducted by a group of bandits and hoodlums to shoot a porno. So what if I'm pacing? Have I even lost the right to pace? Ha. Fei Yang pushed his glasses up with an exasperated expression. What did Gong Su having to shoot a porno have to do with him wildly pacing back and forth like a perpetually bouncing spring? However, Fei Yang knew Gong Su was in a bad mood, so he swallowed his words, unable to reproach him. Fine, keep pacing if you can strip less for every circle you pace. Xiao Qing, who was helping Luo Chen organize his clothes, feebly interjected. Compared to Brother Su, Brother Xianyu and Brother Chen are more tragic. Dong Zai nodded in agreement. Right. Brother Xianyu was forced to give up his role in that Hollywood blockbuster, and keeps having to surrender all his hard work to that Ling Xiaojia from Emperor Sky. And Brother Chen has to keep that awful princess company every day. Brother Chen, that harpy didn't do anything to you, right? Luo Chen's expression stiffened a little, and he aloofly responded with a grim expression. I'm fine. Don't worry about me, you just need to take good care of the company. Xiao Qing's face was brimming with indignation. Is there really no one who will prevent Emperor Sky Entertainment from relying on their gangster background to tyrannize everyone like that? Next to the window, Jiang Yanran calmly replied. Their background is too complicated, and they are all extremely malicious and savage people. Who would dare to control them? Dong Zai mumbled. Why don't we all leave the Age of Immortals together then? As soon as Dong Zai said that, Luo Chen, Gong Su, Jiang Yanran, and the silent Han Xianyu all simultaneously said, no. The four of them met each other's gazes and turned quiet. Gong Su humphed furiously. Leave. No way. The Age of Immortals is Brother Ye's life and blood. It's the empire Brother Yi conquered for us. How could we possibly yield it to someone else? If we left, we would let Brother Yi down. Jiang Yanran's lost expression solidified into determination. Anyway, I will never leave. Luo Chen also inputted. I'll stay behind and wait for Brother Yi to return. Han Xianyu's gentle and comforting voice rang out. The situation isn't that serious. After all, our influence is still here, so they wouldn't dare to go too far. Although Han Xianyu said that, none of their expressions eased up. They knew that gangsters were a troublesome problem for them. Gong Su acted like an abandoned pet and withering plant, and plunked his head on the coffee table with a whimper. Ah, I miss Brother Yi a lot. Chapter 1732. An oppressive silence enveloped the room following Gong Su's listless grumbling. That's right. How could they not miss her? That girl who was brilliant like the blazing sun. It was as though she could accomplish anything she wanted and create miracles at any desired moment. It was as though they were invincible, and every inch of darkness could be dispersed as long as she was there. There was no doubt that she was the soul of the age of immortals in everyone's hearts. Fei Yang recalled that brilliant girl in his mind and sighed. I'm afraid that this time, the Yi brother and sister are in a great mess, and are head over heels in their own troubles. Luo Chen asked. Has Brother Yi contacted any of you recently? The people in the room all shook their heads. Jiang Yinran looked grim. I hope Wanwan is okay. No matter how fearsome and capable she was just a girl inside. Her father and brother were both imprisoned, while her second uncle's family developed a relationship with the mafia. It was uneasy enough for her to manage to protect herself. Having a lack of news was actually the best news possible. Yi Wanwan had been missing for several months now. She disappeared into thin air without a trace, and they couldn't contact her regardless of the method. Some people said she embezzled funds and fled the country, while others claimed she died. Gong Su suppressed the panic and worry in his eyes and furiously shouted, That's the person I took a liking to. There's no way something bad would happen to her that easily. One day, my brother Yi will come and pick me up while riding a trail of rainbow-colored auspicious clouds. Ding dong. At that moment, the doorbell suddenly rang. I'll open the door. Xiaoqing hastily put down the clothes in her hands and dashed toward the front door. Who is it? Xiaoqing opened the door and carelessly looked up. When she saw who it was, she became dumbstruck on the spot. Brother! Brother! Ah! Xiaoqing's screeching successfully attracted everyone's attention. They all swiftly stood up and sprinted to the door, thinking it was those people coming to make trouble again. Xiaowei, what happened? Han Xinyu looked serious. Be Brother Yi. Brother! It's Brother Yi ah! Xiaoqing's joyous screams nearly shattered the windows. At the same time, the other occupants also reached the door and saw a girl in a casual black outfit standing at the entrance, looking like she had just returned from a journey. Ahem, baby, I'm glad you're so enthusiastic about seeing me. The girl chuckled softly upon seeing Xiaoqing about to faint from her excitement. A second later, she looked up and saw the dumbfounded and astonished people standing by the hallway. Hey, long time no see. It was still that stunning and gorgeous face, but someone seemed to have changed a little. She gave off an unfamiliarity at first, but a sense of familiarity returned to them full blast the second the girl opened her mouth with a faint smile. So familiar that tears rushed to their eyes. Brother Yi. Wanwan. Wah. Brother Yi. I swear my mouth is freaking blessed. You really came to pick me up riding a trail of rainbow-colored auspicious clouds. Gong Su shoved Jiang Yinran and Luo Chen to the side and pounced on Yi Wanwan like a husky stripped free of his leash. However, before Gong Su could throw himself into Yi Wanwan's arms, an apathetic youth swiftly stepped forward from behind her and blocked Gong Su from approaching like a door guardian deity. Gong Su was taken aback at first before shock shattered him like he was struck by lightning. His face looked like he was a tragic wife who discovered her husband had an affair on the outside, and looked like he was about to faint from heartache. Brother Yi, you actually got a dog outside behind my back. Chapter 1733. You actually got a dog outside behind my back. Yi Wanwan's eardrums were nearly pierced from the enormous sound wave that slammed into her face. In the midst of Gong Su's breakdown, a head popped up from behind Yi Wanwan's shoulder. Big Dipper blinked. Dog. Where? Gong Su blankly stared at Big Dipper's face for a second before exploding on the spot. You actually got two. Yi Wanwan. Enough already. Seven Star was afraid of people in China hurting Yi Wanwan, so he didn't want her going out by herself and followed her. As for Big Dipper, he heard he would be able to see his goddess and doggedly insisted on coming along. If she knew it would turn into such a ruckus, she would have come on her own. Even Luo Chen and the others were shocked at the sight of the two unfamiliar, eye-catching youths standing next to Yi Wanwan, let alone Gong Su. Brother Yi, these two are? Luo Chen hesitantly asked. Could they be artists newly taken in by Brother Yi? This was everyone's first thought. After returning to China, Yuanwan fussed with even first elder and third elder, let alone two excellent potentials, Big Dipper and Seven Star. Out of habit, Yuanwan gave the duo a giant makeover, so their appearances could hold a candle to a celebrity's, and they emitted a very unique and distinctive aura. Their looks could easily cause misunderstandings. Fei Yang's eyes were shining as he inspected the two youths. Director Yi, are they artists you picked up outside? Gong Su still looked like a girl betrayed by her partner. Brother Yi, you promised that you wouldn't accept anyone aside from Blockhead and me. Yet you picked up two at once. Yi Wanwan exasperatedly said. What blanks are you blindly filling? These two are my friends, not artists I signed. Friends? Gong Su's eyes darted between Big Dipper and Seven Star, and he examined their faces for half a day before decisively announcing. Their faces aren't convincing at all. Yi Wanwan tousled Gong Su's burdenous hair with a dark expression. It's been a while since I've seen you, but why haven't you aged at all? Still so childish. When Gong Su heard this, he got hooked onto a random point. His previous fury abruptly switched to happiness. Of course. I take good care of myself. Yi Wanwan. After a round of chaos, Yi Wanwan led Big Dipper and Seven Star inside the house. Wanwan. Jiang Yinran hugged her with reddened eyes. It's great. I'm glad you're fine. I'm glad you're fine. We were all worried to death when you disappeared for so long. Sorry, I ran into a problem and couldn't contact you guys. No worries, no worries. It's good that you're back. Oh right, allow me to introduce you. These two are friends I met overseas, Big Dipper and Seven Star. Yi Wanwan introduced simply. What unique names. Hello. Jiang Yanran and the others all greeted them and introduced themselves. Only Gong Su remained on high alert and looked at them from the corners of his eyes, displeased. Big Dipper excitedly looked at Jiang Yanran. Hello, goddess. I really met you in person. I'm your fanboy goddess. Are you really an artist under Sis F, Sis Yi? Seven Star merely nodded in greeting and relaxed when he saw Yi Wanwan's familiar attitude toward these people. Big Dipper was a particular social butterfly and didn't take long to familiarize himself with everyone. Chapter 1734 No. I'm jealous. Brother Yi. The first person you sought out when you returned from abroad was actually Brother Xianyu. Gong Su complained, brimming with jealousy. Yi Wanwan raised her eyebrows and spoke matter-of-factly. Isn't that natural? You're awful, Brother Yi. Gong Su wanted to scratch her in anger, but couldn't find anything to retaliate. First come, first serve. There was nothing he could do about the fact that Brother Yi knew Brother Xianyu the longest, and had the best relationship with him. Yi Wanwan's joking expression slipped off her face. Was everyone fine while I was gone? In truth, she visited Han Xianyu first because she wanted to understand the company's situation as fast as possible, so Han Xianyu was the most suitable option. She didn't expect everyone to also be there, which was perfect. As soon as Yi Wanwan asked that, Gong Su's grievances were about to erupt, and he wanted to unleash all of his bitterness. Before Gong Su could respond though, Luo Chen suddenly pinched his waist, eliciting a yelp of pain. Shit. Blockhead. Why did you pinch me? Gong Su angrily glared at him. Luo Chen didn't even look at Gong Su as though he wasn't the one who pinched the man. Without revealing anything in his expression, Luo Chen answered, Brother Yi, don't worry. We're all fine. Gong Su though, damn. What do you mean fine? How am I fine? I'm about to curl into a ball from my mistreatment. Before the Age of Immortals was acquired, who in the company would dare to mistreat him? He was the king of the mountain, the beloved pet of the group, the guardian treasure of the house. Now, he was about to become a doormat. Gong Su was about to speak when he got pinched by Luo Chen again. Yi Wanwan recalled the broadcast she saw when she was in the independent state. Emperor Sky Entertainment acquired the Age of Immortals? Luo Chen and the others' expressions dimmed. It was Han Xinyu who answered. I'm very sorry, Yi Bai. I wasn't able to protect the company, but this was the best option under our circumstances. The company suffered a great impact due to CEO Ye's charge of homicide. Our chain of funds was broken, and we faced bankruptcy. Although Emperor Sky's acquisition was the same as looting a burning house, at least it saved the company, and the company's operations are rather stable with Yao Jiawen standing in for CEO Ye's position. Han Xianyu's expression turned calm toward the end of his explanation, his eyes carrying an innately soothing quality. It was as though the dust really settled and nothing bad happened. It was as though this matter was peacefully resolved, and they didn't suffer any tyrannical and unfair treatment. Yi Wanwan looked at Han Xianyu and the others with turmoil in her eyes. Did Emperor Sky make things difficult for you? Jiang Yanran hastily replied. Although the company was acquired, our status is undeniable, so they didn't dare to do anything much to us. Based on Han Xianyu and Jiang Yanran's explanation, allowing Emperor Sky to acquire the company was their own choice and the most suitable option at that time. However, the reality was completely different. How could they hand over the company they created with their own hands to their archenemy? Back then, all of them resisted it to their deaths and tried to protect the company with everything they had. If they took a gamble, they might have been able to overcome this challenge since the company's foundation was well built before Yi Wanwan left, and they had amicable relations with people in the entertainment industry. They watched as the company slowly improved, until the power behind Emperor Sky Entertainment interfered. The Hongxing Gang was the biggest mafia gang with the longest history in Harbor City with branches all over Asia. They had an unfathomable background. They only started stepping into the entertainment industry in recent years, and used the industry to launder their money in large quantities. Chapter 1735 Emperor Sky Entertainment somehow hooked onto this connection, using the mafia's status in the entertainment industry along with the Hongxing Gang's power to force the sale of the Age of Immortals at a remarkably cheap price. Their methods were extremely nauseating. They bribed Yao Jiawen and used trust for Yao Jiawen to abduct Jiang Yanran and force Han Xianyu, who was managing the company in trust at that time, to sign an immensely unequal contract. If Yi Wanwan knew the truth, he couldn't imagine what she'd do, considering her personality. It would be too dangerous for Yi Wanwan to rashly involve herself in this tricky situation. Those people had no concept of morals and ethics and completely disregarded the law. Yi Wanwan's circumstances were precarious enough already. Her father and brother were in prison still, and she was being targeted by the Yi family. They absolutely couldn't allow her to endanger herself further due to the company. No matter how fearsome she was still a normal girl whose family was struck by disaster. Han Xianyu, Luo Chen, and Jiang Yanran agreed on this point without any hesitation. Gong Su, who was too excited at the sight of Yi Wanwan, also swiftly understood. His rage dissipated as he blinked and looked at Luo Chen, Jiang Yanran, and then Han Xianyu. They stopped him from informing Brother Yi, because they didn't want her to risk herself. Gong Su pursed his lips and suddenly realized he was too impulsive earlier. Gong Su's Best Actor skills were awoken instantly, and he cooperated with Golden Orchid Awards Best Actor Luo Chen, Golden Orchid Awards Best Actress Jiang Yanran, and International Best Actor Han Xianyu. He arrogantly exclaimed, "Damn! Who am I? Who'd dare to make things difficult for us? I'm the #1 popular artist in the entertainment industry right now. They're more likely to elevate me to an altar and burn incense for me every day." Han Xianyu glanced at Gong Su, surprised at how cooperative he was. However, Han Xianyu didn't only have good acting skills, he also knew Yi Wanwan well and thought further. He knew she wouldn't believe it if they sounded too fake. Hence, he mixed some truth into the story. Wanwan, I won't lie to you. Yao Jiawen is now under Yi Yi's control. People want to ascend higher, and people with different goals go their separate ways. We can't fault her for that. Thankfully, in consideration of our previous friendship, she treats us veterans passably, so we're all doing relatively fine. Gong Su's intelligence also went online and matched Han Xianyu's story. That woman is too terrible. She actually splashed dirty water onto you to advance herself. But don't worry, Brother Yi. We personally went to battle and dispersed the rumors and supported you fully. Plus, they don't have proof, so it won't impact you too much. The fans still believe in you. That's right, Wanwan. Focus on handling Uncle Yi and your brother's matter. Don't worry about us. Jiang Yanran comforted her. The four of them cooperated with each other flawlessly like a well-oiled machine, and Fei Yang, Xiaoqing, and Dongzai all stayed silent. An imperceptible glint flickered through Yi Wanwan's eyes as she listened to them. She laughed and said, "Then I'm reassured. I'm glad you're fine. In truth, I'm the one who should apologize since it was my family's mess that dragged the company down. Since the company has been acquired, focus on advancing your careers and try your best to erase your ties with my family." Chapter 1736. Before Yi Wanwan finished speaking, Han Xinyu gently interrupted. "Yi Bai, you're being too much of a stranger in saying this kind of thing. I don't want to discuss words of gratitude considering our relationship, but I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. An age of immortals wouldn't exist. We'll stand together with you through thick and thin. This won't change no matter what." Luo Chen immediately nodded, displaying the same expression as Han Xinyu. Jiang Yanran hugged Yi Wanwan. "Wanwan, you aren't allowed to say anything related to dragging us down again, or else I'll get angry. We've been in contact with lawyers regarding your brother and Uncle Ye's situation, and are brainstorming a solution, so don't worry too much." Warmth flowed through Yi Wanwan's heart as she looked at her companions. "Thank you." Because Han Xinyu and the others still had jobs and assignments, Yi Wanwan didn't linger, and left after chatting a little longer. As soon as Yi Wanwan left, Gong Su plopped down on the carpet. "Damn. We managed to keep her in the dark." Then he swiftly jumped up and pulled up his shirt, pointing at his waist. "Damn. Blockhead. Don't you know to use a gentler method to remind me? You've bruised my precious waist." Luo Chen didn't say anything and merely looked at him with his typical, "Are you an idiot?" look, disinclined to talk to him at all. Gong Su knew he nearly exposed them and was in the wrong but still gloatingly said, "How about it? This young master's adaptive abilities and acting skills are decent, right?" Luo Chen expressionlessly replied, "Too exaggerated." Gong Su shot him a glare instantly. "Bullshit. It was clearly perfection. This young master has a best actor." Jiang Yanran turned to Han Xinyu with concern and asked, "We probably fooled her, right?" Han Xinyu also wasn't certain and wryly chuckled. "Probably." Fei Yang, who watched the best actors and best actress flinging their acting skills around, asked, "What are you all worried about? There are 3 best actors and 1 best actress here. How could Yi Bai possibly have seen through you? Moreover, she's preoccupied with her brother and father's issues right now, so she probably can't keep up on our end." Jiang Yanran sighed with relief. "I hope so." Luo Chen glanced at Gong Su and hesitantly warned, "You be careful tomorrow." Gong Su raised his eyebrows in surprise, not expecting Luo Chen to show concern for him. He instantly tilted his head and said, "Who am I? There's no one who can make this young master suffer a loss. You should worry about yourself instead." Inside the car, after Yi Wanwan led Big Dipper and 7 Star out of Han Xinyu's mansion and entered the car, the faint and warm smile disappeared from her face without a trace. "Heh." Yi Wanwan chuckled softly a moment later, her eyes cast down. Big Dipper scratched his head in incomprehension. "Why are you laughing, Sis Feng?" Yi Wanwan softly laughed, her expression exasperated. "I'm pleased. The best actors and best actress that I personally taught, their acting skills are quite decent." "Huh? What do you mean?" Big Dipper was baffled. 7 Star, on the other hand, glanced at her pensively. Yi Wanwan didn't respond, her smile receding as she said, "Big Dipper, continue to track the Yi family. 7 Star, immediately help me uncover everything that happened these past few months between the Age of Immortals and Emperor Sky Entertainment, including every detail and process of Emperor Sky Entertainment's acquisition of the company half a month ago." 7 Star nodded. "Okay." Chapter 1737. The Independent State. A certain simple European-style manor was under tight security. If someone knew who was meeting inside this manor today, they would be ashen from terror. It was the organization prison, which had receded after many years of seclusion. Its core members, the 3 leaders of Azura, Heavenly Hatred and Slaughter's Gate, were meeting for the first time since they disbanded many years ago. Jiang Yin and Lin Ke silently stood guard outside the door. As the sky dimmed and dusk settled upon them, Jiang Yan's phone suddenly started ringing. Jiang Yin slowly walked to the side to accept the call. What did you say? The person on the other end said something, causing Jiang Yan's expression to darken with a swish. Keep watching carefully. After placing that order, Jiang Yin hung up. Lin Ke, who had kept himself disguised ever since he learned Yi Wanwan came to the independent state, glanced at Jiang Yan. What is it? Why do you look like you ate shit? Jiang Yan furiously responded. By phone left the independent state. Lin Ke raised his eyebrows. Eh? Yi Wanwan left the independent state? Wasn't that girl recently racking her brain to uncover Si Yihan's little alias? Why did she suddenly leave the independent state? Where did she go? Lin Ke asked reflexively. Jiang Yin angrily answered. China. She accepted that trashy mission regarding the elimination of defected mercenaries. It will take at least a month or two to complete it, but it might take 3 to 5 months. That mission is nowhere as simple as she imagined, and she might even lose her life. The ignorant are seriously fearless. Heh. Don't you rather dislike her? What wouldn't it be good if she lost her life? Lin Ke asked with a snicker. I don't care if she lives or dies, but my lord is poisoned by the love goo and will definitely die in 3 months without an antidote. The antidote hasn't been discovered yet, so if she dies before that, my lord. Lin Ke nodded in understanding. So you want her to sleep with him once to cure the poison? Jiang Yan's expression stiffened, and a suspicious flush crawled up his neck. You're dreaming. Lin Ke clicked his tongue while shaking his head. Look at how Jiang Yan treated Yi Wanwan like a ferocious beast, and was afraid she'd tarnish his lord. If he discovered she'd corrupted and slept with his lord already, Lin Ke wondered how he'd react. However, that girl actually returned to China? Did that mean? Lin Ke's eyes glinted, but his contemplation was disrupted by the door finally opening. A slender male figure wearing a vintage Victorian-style suit as black as the night slowly walked out, his stunning face covered in frost. My lord! Jiang Yan and Lin Ke immediately went up to receive him. Jiang Yan appeared as if he wanted to say something as he looked at his lord. Lin Ke didn't have any scruples though and frankly said with a smile. Good timing. I have good news for you. Good news? Lord Azura glanced at Lin Ke aloofly. Lin Ke grinned. That girl accepted Scarlet Flame's Academy's A-rank mission to capture defected mercenaries and ran back to China. The man's pupils contracted, and he spoke without thinking a second later. Arrange a trip to China. Jiang Yan's eyes shot open in disbelief when he heard that. What? My lord actually wants to go to China the second he hears that woman's in China. What does this mean? Is my lord truly going to surrender and use that degrading method to cure the goo poison? Chapter 1738. Jiang Yin nearly wanted to commit suicide from intense self-reproach. If he protected his lord better, that vixen wouldn't have been able to exploit his weakness. Lin Ke looked like he expected it though. Okay. Understood. I'll arrange it immediately. Si Yihan was at his wits' end due to that girl pressing closer and closer, and almost couldn't conceal his identity anymore. But that girl just happened to return to China at this time. He merely needed to arrange for someone to pretend to be Lord Azura in the independent state, and return to China to recover his identity as Si Yihan, and he could dispel her suspicions. The next morning, Seven Star delved into everything that happened at the Age of Immortals after Yi Wanwan left that very night before giving the report to Yi Wanwan. Sis Feng, I've finished looking into the matter concerning the acquisition. It's not that simple. Although the Age of Immortals situation wasn't optimistic, it wasn't at the point of needing to sell the company. Even when Emperor Sky gave a fairly high purchase price and exerted both gentle and forceful methods, Han Xianyu and the others didn't acquiesce. Yi Wanwan kept tapping the glass surface of the side table with her finger. Continue. In truth, Han Xianyu, Luo Chen, Gong Su, and Jiang Yanran's acting skills were superb, and Yi Wanwan didn't catch anything amiss due to flaws in their acting skills. It was because of trust. She trusted that they wouldn't sell the company and trusted that they would have the capability. However, the result didn't match her expectations at all, so something else had to have gone wrong. Hence, she ordered 7-Star to investigate the matter. 7-Star continued, "According to my investigation, your cousin and second aunt had secret intimate contact with people from the Hongxing gang these past few months. After you left, Yao Jiawen acted as the manager of Jiang Yanran, Gong Su, and Luo Chun, and was rather trusted. Hence, they bribed Yao Jiawen and made her cooperate with people from the Hongxing gang from the inside to avoid the bodyguards and kidnap Jiang Yanran. Then they threatened the others using Jiang Yanran, and they had no choice but to comply with Emperor Sky's acquisition." Yi Wanwan's expression darkened instantly. Never would she have expected that she would still underestimate the shamelessness of Huang Mingquan and the mother-daughter duo in the end. She didn't expect them to use such a vulgar method. What chilled her heart more was Yao Jiawen's betrayal. Yao Jiawen was someone she unearthed and taught hand over hand. She passed her knowledge to Yao Jiawen without holding back, and even entrusted her with her most important artists before leaving. To her surprise, Big Dipper sprang up with righteous indignation. "Damn. Hongxing gang what? I've never heard of them. They dared to kidnap my goddess. Fuck their ass." They're an organization that originated from Harbor City and currently has influence in China and the Asia region, 7-Star expressionlessly explained. Yi Wanwan had naturally heard of the Hongxing gang before. They were rather powerful indeed, and had a deep background. However, if an underground syndicate like Hongxing gang was thrown into the independent state, they would basically be no different from children playing house. Let's not even compare them to the Fearless Alliance, which struck terror into everyone in the independent state. "Give me the upcoming schedules of those four," Yi Wanwan requested. 7-Star conducted his assignment to satisfaction, and looked into that already, so he quickly sent a document to Yi Wanwan's phone. Yi Wanwan skimmed through the schedules before focusing on Gong Su's schedule that day. The name of the film that Gong Su was going to shoot today looked familiar. It seemed to be the film claimed to use explicit scenes to catch viewers' attention. Chapter 1739. Currently, the set of the film A Carnal Night had a tense atmosphere, and the scent of gunpowder permeated the air. Next to Gong Su were a tip chair, and the shattered pieces of a cup he knocked over. "Yao Jiawen, this isn't what you said when you coaxed me into signing the contract for this film. I can tolerate you using those crude methods for publicity, but now you actually want me to strip and shoot that kind of thing? Just to support a nobody? Who do you think I am?" The female lead of this film was the lover of some leader in Hongxing gang and a minor, unpopular artist. She was currently signed to the Age of Immortals and personally managed by Yao Jiawen. If this was before, Gong Su wouldn't mind acting in this kind of film. But now Brother Yi exerted so much effort just to lift him into this position and help him change his genre. So how could he tolerate this kind of vulgar and low-quality film and ruin their efforts? Yao Jiawen was sitting in a leather chair with a cup of coffee in hand, unconcerned about Gong Su's rage. "You're too naive, Gong Su. Which high-earning person in the industry doesn't do this? You wasted so much time and energy shooting a film without a market. So what if you used it to win Best Actor? The profit that it brought is far inferior to you stripping your clothes and revealing some skin." Yi Bai's self-righteous method of blindly pursuing expertise and acting skills doesn't suit this industry at all, and she should have been eliminated ages ago. It had only been a few mere months, but all traces of Yao Jiawen's original simple and frugal appearance had disappeared from her body. Her outfit could hold a candle to the outfits of some artists and celebrities. There was a luxurious bracelet around her wrist and a Chanel couture outfit enveloping her body. There was also a personal assistant waiting on her tail, and she completely resembled a golden manager. Confidence leaking through her every word. The director and producers next to her all bobbed their heads zealously and fell over themselves to lick her boots. "CEO Yao is brilliant. CEO Yao's words are incredibly insightful. Ah, Gong Su, didn't we all enter this industry to earn money? Why must you jeopardize your earnings? CEO Yao is doing this for your own good." Immense satisfaction filled Yao Jiawen as she listened to these renowned producers and director, who she wasn't even qualified to look at before, all eagerly parroting her. She might have felt a little guilty allying with Yi before, But after being a golden manager and the company's CEO for several months, that tinge of guilt had been stomped to nothing underneath her feet. Both she and Yi Bai were managers, so why should Yi Bai thrive while she could only act as a lackey? In this industry, you had to be unscrupulous to rise above everyone else anyway. She couldn't be faulted. She absolutely didn't want to return to her original groveling and currying life. Now, even the arrogant and bossy Gong Su was a puppet to her wishes. Gong Su stared at the woman before him and sneered. Yao Jiawen, stop freaking dirtying this young master's ears. Who the heck do you think you are? Do you really think you're my manager? Who gave you the nerve to think you're worthy of being mentioned in the same breath as my brother Yi? When Yao Jiawen heard that, her calm and graceful mask instantly shattered, a storm rolling into her eyes. After gaining control of the company, her biggest taboo was being compared to Yi Bai. What she loathed the most was these people mentioning Yi Bai at every twist and turn, when clearly the Age of Immortals belonged to her now, and she was their manager now. Chapter 1740. Yao Jiawen snorted with ridicule. Heh, best actor Gong seriously keeps director Yi in mind constantly? May I ask where your precious director Yi went when the company was backed into a wall? Where was she when the company was acquired? You're right, I don't need to be mentioned in the same breath as her because she's nothing but a stray dog. What right does she have to be compared to me? If she returned to the company now, she wouldn't even be worthy of holding my shoes for me. Gong Su felt a ball of rage and frost engulfing his eyes, and he stressed every word carefully. Yao Jiawen, I dare you to say that again. Did your fucking conscience get eaten by a dog? If it weren't for Brother Yi back then, you would have already packed up your bags and returned to the fields to be a farmer. Now, you're actually paying a favor back with revenge? You can't even measure up to a fucking dog. Yao Jiawen's eyes darkened. Ha! I'm paying back a favor with revenge? Back then, Yi Wanwan merely gave me an assistant position like she was dismissing a beggar. Everything I possess today, I worked for myself. I have a clear conscience. You, however, wake up. Do you think the Age of Immortals is a place you can throw a tantrum however you want? You have to shoot today's scene whether you want to or not. Yao Jiawen then shot a look at the side. Several burly men emitting a conspicuous savage aura promptly entered the hall. Yao Jiawen snorted. Would you rather start shooting obediently, or have someone lend you a helping hand? It's your choice, but I'm advising you to obey me nicely. Don't do things the hard way. Gong Su's entire body was drowning in a violent fury, and he shoved the video camera over. Scram. Shoot it yourself if you want to. Yao Jiawen nonchalantly said. You won't shoot it? Sure. If you won't, I can find someone else. How about I add a scene for Jiang Yanran? After all, the effects of a female artist shooting this are much better than a male artist. Yao Jiawen, fuck your grandfather. Gong Su charged up to punch her but was pulled back by Dong Zai. He could disregard his own well-being and shatter the fish tank, but these people had no bottom line and were willing to do anything. He previously heard that a celebrity accidentally verbally offended a boss from Hongxing Gang, and their corpse was discovered by the riverside in the suburbs the next day. And last time Jiang Yanran was kidnapped, she would have nearly gotten bullied if they hadn't arrived in time. Yao Jiawen naturally detected Gong Su's apprehension and ordered with a smile. All right then, let's stop wasting time. Begin. Gong Su's eyes were like that of an enraged bull as he icily glared at Yao Jiawen. He lay his fingers over the collar of his dress shirt before ripping it, sending buttons flying everywhere. He forcefully yanked off his shirt onto the floor. The director excitedly ordered the lights and camera crew to make preparations, and they started shooting. Continue. Strip everything and lie down in the bathtub. Then Jingjing will sit on top of Gong Su, the director instructed. Gong Su's face froze as he stared at the eager nobody, his expression black as tar. When he met Yao Jiawen's threatening gaze, he took a deep breath and continued to strip. Just as Gong Su placed his fingers over his icy belt buckle and loosened it, a loud bang rang. The large iron doors of the set suddenly collapsed from a kick. Everyone jumped in fright and turned to look at the entrance. There was a tall and slender figure standing in the doorway, light radiating from behind them with their legs still in a kicking position. When the person saw everyone looking over, they slapped off the non-existent dust from their shoulders and retracted their leg. "Who are you? What are you doing?" The director shouted furiously. Since the girl was standing with the light behind her, her face was hazy. All that was heard was an icy but languid and clear voice reverberating in the set. "Apologies for disturbing everyone. I am Gong Su's manager. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.